Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome once again to Blaine's Escape Corner, our little corner of the internet. We get together, we talk about things that help us escape. I am your host, Blaine, of the Escaping Corner. Welcome to Thursday. Today is going to be a couple anime reviews, and when we finish the couple anime reviews, we'll get into game design, and we'll start chugging away at sort of the bones to our systems, our ideas. We will get that rolling. So, kampai to you. Have a wonderful time today. Pre-roll ads kill you? I thought you had a blocker. You're always telling me to get a blocker. I thought you had one. Thank you for what enjoying the ads, giving me those half a penny probably. What do I actually make on a live stream? It's probably not even that. Hold on. Live. Oh, let's look at yesterday's live. That's probably not enough time. Let's look at the live before that. Get out of here. Why is this? Okay, there we go. Analytics. Oh. Can I look at just... How do I take out the donations? Because that one made 52.64, but I'm pretty sure that's because JMac was dropping some coin on it, so... Unless 23 views gives you $50, which I don't believe. Oh, and that one has limited monetization too. Okay, great. Show me one that has non-limited monetization. One peso. Yeah, okay. 4 views since it was published. This one got 2 cents. Few weeks ago. So, thank you for giving me those fractional pennies. They don't make blockers for tablets. Oh no! Now that I have space, I'm totally downloading one. Nice. The late jackass, you killed that groundhog. Wait, what groundhog? What groundhog died? I don't know what groundhog died. I am unawares as to the death of a groundhog. YouTube took the penny. That's true, because those are just the numbers before YouTube takes their pennies. Check it out. Gotta mark the thing. Where is the other one? The other one, there it is. Marking it. Set as watching. The groundhog the New York City battle killed? What? Any spring reviews? 2 spring reviews for Alex Moore. Number 1, Spice and Wolf. Well done. Well done. You did everything a first episode of Spice and Wolf needs to do. This will be... I'm 90% sure this is Waifu's first viewing of the Spicy and the Wolfie. But she says she's like, I swear I've seen it, but she just remembers like the name of it, so I don't know that she actually has seen it. So we'll see. We'll see as we go if she remembers anything specific. But she enjoyed it. Good job setting up the world, setting up what's going on with the church and the gods and everything, as well as like introducing to our merchant main character that he's sort of connected to these places that he does business, but he doesn't really have any direct relation to them. So well done there. Is Funny still dubbing that one? Don't know, and I couldn't tell you because I watch a sub.
It don't matter, really.
First show, okay, don't tell her who she was speaking to in the first scene. Massive spoiler. I got so terrified in the first the first scene because like the subtitles on like the fan subs, it says like the line or it reads out the line, and then in parentheses it says probably Hollow speaking, and I was like, oh, okay. Like for a second there, I was like, I swear to sweet Ghiblis, if you give this away. Oh man. So well done. Very happy to see it. Excited to continue with it. Nice job, Spicy Wolf. Number 2. They fixed everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say you undersold the show a ton when you were talking about it previously.
If you want to have a like wild idea of the other direction a show can go, just watch the first episode of the original Bartender. It is awful comparatively. Like you get the fun drinks and everything, but like in the original, that whole competition to see who's going to be the new bartender, it's just this one angry guy who's like, you don't even know if I've eaten anything today. Why are you making me a martini? Like, and then he goes to the next guy. And he's like, you took you too long. Like, it's all the same stuff, but it's just one angry guy. And the lead into that scene is a lady who is stage right, just in a shadowed area with a spotlight, who's saying like, looking for a man who can be the ultimate bartender for his hotel bar. He can't find the right one, and he seeks and seeks for the true bartender who can pour him a glass of the gods. Like, all this idea of like the chairman being there, of these other two girls that are like looking around trying to find him, meeting the bartender outside of the bar. None of that happens in the original. So it does so much better at giving us characters that we can relate to, care about, who have to get their job done. And are trying to figure this out. The bartender has been humanized. In the original, he could be a deity for all we know. Like, he just exists as like the perfect bartender. Whereas here we're like, oh, he's flawed until you put him behind the bar. Then he's just magic at doing that. Everything about this is so much better. So much better. It's like someone watched the original and was like, Why are they doing this? Why don't they do this, and this? It'd be so much better if they did this. And then they went and did that. Like, they listened to someone else's review or critique and were like, oh, yeah, let's make it better. It was so much better. So much better. I can see when you guys both said, like, oh, you guys liked it, like it was good. I was like, oh, good. They had to have fixed it, and they did.
Mm-hmm. That was the one show we didn't watch together, and we both loved it.
Nice. Yeah, very... very fun. I'm excited to see, of course, the continuing of what kind of interesting drinks we get introduced to, ways to make them. Like, just take a classic. Like, as soon as she says, I want something pink, waifu and I were both like, Cosmo. Like, it had to be a Cosmo, and sure enough, there it was. So it's going to be a fun one, too, if you have any understanding of alcoholic drinks.
I made you a pink lemon drop.
It's a pink panty dropper. Tell me what you think in the morning. Oh,
you clearly haven't had anything to eat today. Here's a kamikaze shot with some pink dye in it.
Right. Oh, it's gonna be good. Plus the whole just getting transported to another world upon sipping the highball is just like, ooh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, this is exactly what I need it to be. A show you'll never understand. Oh, you'll figure it out someday. There's if you're not a drinker, you can go to Low Non Bar. Low Non Bar in Japan is all non-alcoholic stuff, but it's prepared in this same like super fancy bartender way.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of the TNG episode where Data serves drinks to Scotty, and Scotty's like, "What's this? It's green." Funny. Data. All right, that was it.
Well, I mean, there were a few other shows that aired today, and they ranged from mildly good to very bad. Possibly the worst show ever.
Oh, worse than God Game or whatever?
We didn't finish God Game. Like, we both got 3 minutes in and quit immediately. But this show, I made him finish. It's called A Condition Called Love. The main character is fucking insane. The main guy, he's a lunatic. And the girl is severely autistic. and that is
good.
not
That's
a good
the
recipe.
best kind, right?
No, not the best kind. The opening scene is him breaking up with a girl, and he gives the pretentious, "Oh, soul, look, we just need to be looking for our soulmates, and I guess you just weren't the one. We just didn't work out." He gives that fucking speech,
Oh, gross.
and it's already it's awkward. The girl like puts an umbrella over him while he's like just sitting there on a bench in the snow,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next day he asks her out.
That show.
Yeah, it
Looks
was
like you're
really
not
bad.
alone.
Dude, she loses a hairpin in like the track and field area, like the track, and it starts snowing. She gets a call later that night asking if it's a like a ribbon hairpin because he's out there searching for it at night while it's snowing.
That's the best time to go looking for things.
Exactly. And so yeah,
Is
the
it
main
dark and hard
Yeah.
to find the thing? Yeah,
it's
let's go
very
get
dark.
it.
Well, no, the pin itself is a star pin, not a heart pin, which he did find. He found a heart pin.
Mm-hmm.
Was it hidden in his bag in a way that it would fall out and remind him to go see them at the airport?
No.
No, see, that doesn't make sense.
No, he had to. He literally scrounged on the ground for multiple days to find it, and he didn't find it until the snow melted. Like a couple days later.
I mean, why not just wait for the snow to melt? The snow's gonna melt in a couple days.
Well, you understand,
Yeah,
he's
right?
clinically insane.
Oh, clearly.
We also Michael skipped the part where the day after she rejected him, he got a different haircut. Cause like, and asked, "Hey, do you like this better?"
They had a single conversation about how she likes her hair short because it's low maintenance, and the next day he gets his hair cut short.
This guy.
I mean, why would his
crazy.
hair being short be unimportant?
I don't know.
It just is. It was like a whole scene.
Oh, okay.
The show
No, this guy
treats
is
important.
genuinely insane and a total creep. Like the
Mhm.
way he talks to people, it's like extremely off-putting.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
the way he
Also-
introduces himself, it's like, oh yeah, all these people want to hang out with me, but once they get to know me, they think I'm a creep. I'm just off-putting.
He is at all
And he
points
is.
in the show.
He wasn't wrong.
Well, if he's not wrong, then I mean, we got to at least give that to him, right?
Definitely
like, yeah, you
acts
did
like
it,
a
buddy.
stalker. Yeah, I'm
You-
glad you
you know
recognize
you.
that you're a bad person. Do something to fix it.
You sure know yourself there, buddy. Good job. Real quick movement here. Just because the practice literally started right before I went to click on streaming, so I'm gonna move some things around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You should do a poll. Do you have a waifu, husbando, furry, or none of the above? What?
What? Doesn't furry overlap with any of those?
Yeah, I mean, you could have a furry waifu.
I feel like you would
How
need
about
4
we
options.
find out who votes for the furry option and ban them?
I don't think it even tells me that.
Well,
honestly.
I'm sorry, Serranos. We're gonna have to ban you.
I'm not voting for the furry option.
You're not gonna vote for your.
I said I
profile?
want a heartbeat, not a bird.
Yeah, we know you're into Vika. Everyone's into Vika.
Everybody should be.
Yeah, they get 4 lines in the entire game. Everyone should be into them.
All right. How does this move? Let's
I'll
see.
say, how much of the Ricci City did you actually play? Because I might have actually played more than you, Blaine.
How much have I played?
Yeah, how many matches did you play?
I'm up to C3 in 4 seat.
I'd have to double check what mine is. I don't even know I forgot what the rankings are. I just know they go up until they don't.
Yeah, you have to. Depending on how well you do in third, you have to be in last place to not gain points for a while.
Yeah, polls are just very limited. We should be making a Google Doc, a Google survey.
Maja Ishibanga.
Yeah, I'm at B2 right now. It says.
Yeah, I'm at C1.
See, I have played more than you.
Yep.
Because I definitely lost more matches than you, probably.
Are we friends? Let's be friends. Then we
I
can
don't think
look,
we are, 'cause
we can
I
look
didn't.
directly at our each other's faces while we do this. What's your friend code? Or do you want me to tell you mine?
Where do you get the friend code thing? ID.
Okay, if you're on the main page, there's a little two human things.
He found it.
It's
Okay.
like I postal ID thing. Yeah.
All right. Doop. Oh yeah, of course. I have to search in my.
Yeah, I bought the little pack thing because I wanted a character that wasn't a lolly.
the $7 like first
Yeah.
pack.
Yeah,
that's
because
it.
I had some points from the Google Play thing, so I got a $5 discount.
Sweet. I did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You're like $2. Hell yeah.
I was like, I'll do it because I'll probably play it enough that's worthwhile. I'd rather have a different character.
Yeah, for sure.
These motherfuckers.
Okay.
Bow. Stats. Total matches 23 versus
That's a lot.
how do I look at my
I've actually gotten first. All of my first places are like back to back, basically.
Yeah, you've played 13 more matches than me.
Yeah, because I
Just
lost
double.
a bunch of matches.
Literal double what I've played.
The two times I got fourth place right before I actually went on, like, got my 3 wins, I was insanely unlucky.
Nice.
I didn't even play poorly. I actually was playing decently well, but I got absolutely destroyed by luck. Like, the other people were just drawing better than I was. And I, like,
Oh, for sure.
like, whenever I get a Ricci, it's like, I got a Ricci with, like, what, after the first 3 rounds or something, like round 3 or 4 one time.
Mhm.
And it was like, I had 2 options. And then, I think it was 4 or 5 rounds later, another guy puts Ricci down, and then my next draw gives him the win. And it's
Yeah.
like, are you kidding me?
I feel like those early Ricci's feel good, but they rarely get you like an actual win. Like usually what happens is like if you Ricci later on in the game, you can see what's remaining. You're like, "Oh, there's still 4 of these out there, but there's like I see all of these are gone." Whereas early in the game, there's 4 of everything still out. So you're like, "Oh yeah, I got 4 of them. They'll get discarded eventually," but then they just don't. You're like,
Yeah,
like,
like,
I reach you with 7 tiles, and it's like, no, you're still losing.
the odds are slim, but anyone could draw like a
Like-
con on whatever you need.
for sure. For
And it's
sure.
just like, that happened 2 games in a row where I got utterly annihilated, and I got 4th both times.
Yeah.
It's like I just had the worst possible luck. It is really annoying about card games. I'd say, I think my first win, I just had 1 good round, and that's what won it for me.
hmm
Mhm.
My second one actually did play pretty well overall.
All it takes is 1 good round
Yeah.
most of the
That's all I
time.
need, baby. Just one.
It was actually, the reason I won actually because it was a double roan. I
Oh,
think
there
that
you
was
go.
my. I
You-
can't remember if
you
that was
and
my
someone
first or
else.
second win. Yeah, it was like a double roan, and then it destroyed the guy that was in first place. The other person I that got the other roan actually got a bigger one than I did, but he was much farther behind because he had lost the previous rounds.
All it takes is one good Roan DeSantis.
Yeah.
Why did you have to go and ruin that term? Why'd you ruin it, Roni? The UTF is going on. We're talking about playing Mahjong.
Roan is basically getting your win when you.
Oh shoot!
Well,
Actually,
Roan is
my-
when someone else feeds into your hand and you win off it.
Yeah, that's one of the ways you get your win. Yeah.
Mhm.
hold on, I gotta run. I totally whoop, not that one. Where's my break one? Not that one.
Okay, bye.
You're doing something else, whatever.
Be right back. Okay, I found it. Yeah, no, I 3D printed the Mahjong like point sticks and like the middle table thing.
Mm,
But I have to go soak it before it hardens into something that it's not supposed to
Okay,
look
do
like.
it.
Totally
Okay,
forgot. I'll
fine.
be right back.
that's a good thing. We like those.
Yeah, Bartender, talk a little bit about that. I loved Bartender. It was very good.
Very fun.
Probably my favorite show so far. We can talk about the other one in a sec, but yeah, Bartender, I just really liked the dialogue. I thought it was really fun. It kept it moving really well. Got good characterization, and you got to identify with the characters pretty well in just one episode.
Mhm.
It did it well.
I don't think either of the girls are waifu material, but they're both fun.
I think probably you could probably see them as that later.
Just
I like
not-
the idea that it's like this older guy who's like, I really need this perfect bartender for this. It's like it's not worth me having a bar here if I don't have the best.
Mhm.
You know, You can understand the motivation for the stuff. You can see where it's going. It's like, yeah, I get it.
Well, he's just gonna be a stain at that bar, so he needs the best.
Yeah. Also, the fact is, for a business, if you're bringing like business clients in and you're bringing them to your bar, it completely reflects on you. Everything the bartender does reflects on you.
True.
You're hiring this guy. You want the best you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Like having a good bartender could absolutely help you close deals. Like it's not just a personal pride thing either. It's like this is genuinely useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this ain't a hotel bar. You know, oh well, it is a hotel bar, but this isn't like a hotel where
I mean, you can see what the rest of the characters are talking about. Is like these people are closing deals, blah blah. They're getting work done, blah blah blah. It's like this is a business. We're doing business deals here. We're securing funding. We're getting clients. We're selling them stuff. Blah blah blah. There's a lot of money passing through this building, so they can afford to go for the best of the best.
Exactly. They wouldn't be sending them out there to find all these people if they couldn't afford the best.
Yeah, except they're not gonna foot the bill any longer. This is the yeah. The firm was like, no.
How much did you spend? Fuck.
Yeah, and then the other show we liked was the Superior to Sasaki and Peeps. Another one where people come from fantasy world to real world with their magic. It's a little princess girl. And which is this one called again? It was Salad Bowl? Yeah, we'll just call it Salad Bowl. It's a salad bowl of eccentrics.
Yeah,
just call it Salad Bowl. That's what we're gonna call it for the rest of the season. Yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought it was pretty funny. It was pretty good. Just a very
there were a few scenes
time.
I laughed at.
I was laughing at a lot of it.
I definitely liked that they weren't pulling any punches. Like you have the older night lady fishing in the river the second she gets in there to clean herself. I thought that was very fun.
Yeah. Salad Bowl was just consistently funny. I'd rate it as a good show this season. I'll probably keep up with this one.
And so far, there's only one lolly in it, unlike Sasaki and Peeps, which cycled through them every episode.
Which had a new lolly every time. I don't think there are other... Excuse me. I don't think there's going to be other lollies either.
I think from the theme song, there's going to be at least one more, but I don't know. But it might just be her friends at school, is what it seems like.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Salad Bowl Mal. Let's see if the Mal has it. Let's see if they have the character profiles. Because AniList does not, because they're lazy.
Did you end up watching that sports show?
I didn't finish yet.
Fair enough.
Okay, here we go. I wonder if there's an anime original thing. Does it have a source?
With a name like that, probably not.
Salad. Oh yeah, it looks like it does. I just didn't remember it or not. Yeah, it had a light novel and a manga. It's hard to tell. All the characters are like young looking. You can't really tell. Maybe one of them is a schoolgirl. Yeah. Looks like there's gonna be a couple other from the fantasy world and a couple from the real world.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
At the minimum, the Noah character, NOA, is gonna be from the fantasy world. And also, there could be other characters from the fantasy world that are just wearing normal clothes that change their outfit. That could happen.
True, yeah. We also watched Dangers in Our... Oh, no, fuck, not Dangers.
We watched Dangers in Our Heart. Dangers in My Heart.
Dungeon Meshi. We watched Dungeon Meshi.
Yeah, this is a side episode, more so just go into this other group of people, the adventures that died like 3 different times.
I definitely like them a little bit more than I did before, but also I don't like the black guy at all.
There we go. Why is that, Michael? Why don't you like the black guy?
He's kind of an asshole.
You mean how he just murders people and dumps them in the river?
No, he'll be like, anything will happen, and he'll look at his crew and be like, "Don't get upset over this. If we were in that situation, we would have done the same thing." And it's just like, no, they're allowed to be upset, my guy.
Oh yeah, they're allowed to
So-
be upset about people being slavers, basically.
Right.
These were the failed prints. So like they started to peel off of the base of the 3D printer. So like you get these weird curve shapes to what's supposed to be
Yeah.
like the straight sticks. And then like this was like really nice and clean to like be the east indicator. But because I printed it with that side up, the bottom side has all these little like pock marks from the holders. So I was like, these are gross. I'm gonna redo all of these. So I've got a whole nother set that's now curing that should be able to just finish and sit there.
Wouldn't you only need the
It's
one side?
better.
Not if you ever play a south round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Oh, I forgot. Okay, yeah, I see.
yeah, it's the marker that just goes next to the first dealer, so you know where everything started.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that'll be easy and quick. But yeah, these like they work. Like if I couldn't just click a button to make it better, then I'd be like, whatever. We could just play Reachy stuff with that. But it's literally I just click a button after rearranging the print, and it'll look way better. So I do it. Welcome anyone who's joined while I was running away.
We talked about salad bowl of eccentrics.
Oh, I saw salad on like the list.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
very similar to Sasuke and Peeps.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah.
In what way?
Yeah,
magical-
children coming from another world.
Yeah.
It's a child instead of a bird, I guess.
Pretty
Oh,
much.
gotcha. I was like, is it in the way that it has like 15 different storyline types that it's balancing? Is it in the way
No,
that...
it's sticking with the two because there's two characters that came from the other world. Or doing
Gotcha.
that thing.
Sounds bueno.
It's nice when they only introduce 4 characters in the first episode and not 15.
Sure.
Is that actually a problem?
Wait, yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. if you introduce characters well, I mean, I think you can introduce like as many characters.
Okay,
as you
but
can.
are we seriously saying they introduced them well in Sasuke and Peeps?
I liked them all.
Introduce them, not like whether you like them or not.
In the first episode of Sasuke and Peeps, I was not confused about who was who or what was going on. Were there characters that you were like, who are they?
No, because I don't generally do that. Not
Okay.
generally like, oh my god, who's that character?
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Okay,
Sorry,
Sasuke and Peeps.
I'm just getting ready for Andrew Clark later in the stream. All right.
He ain't the okay. That wasn't the best example. Sasuke and Peeps has different issues, but their first episode was 40 minutes long, so that kind of negates the 14 character criticism.
Oh, I didn't even think to bring that up. I just thought it was well paced. Turn-based tactical combat. All right. Boom. Oh yeah, what's that? You posted a thing in the Discord. You're like, oh, look at this game. And I was looking at it, but like I said, like, oh, I always like SRPGs, but like when I was looking at it, it also looks like it's just like an RPG. Like you're running around a town, like doing stuff. Like, is it?
It's like Fire Emblem in terms of you're moving around the map.
Yeah.
But is there like city, like village visits in between? Like,
Yeah,
There is an
Sometimes
overworld
things
map.
Okay.
Like you never played on Fire Emblem Echoes, but they have city exploring you can do.
Yeah, it seems like a fun way to do that in between rather than the straight up menuing that occurs in the Fire Emblems that I've played.
Well, that's because you skip the story.
I'm sorry. Would adding the story, me reading the story, change the fact that when I go to the select screen, it's just a map where I click a level? Does the game unlock? Does it know I read the story and it's like, oh hey, he read the story. Let him explore the village. Like, does that happen?
Well, I feel like you would have less complaints if you just read the story.
Less. What do you mean less complaints?
I feel like this wouldn't be an issue.
What is this? Explain the
This.
complaints that I have.
This is the issue.
Not
What
feeling
issue?
immersed, I guess.
Yeah. Like if you're having problems with immersion, with getting into it.
Is that what I
Or are you
said?
just asking for like more gameplay options?
Is that what I said?
I don't know. What are you saying?
I'm saying that the ability to physically run around a town in between things looks like fun.
After playing Three Houses, I can guarantee it isn't.
Okay, cool. I mean, any idea could be done bad. Like, I don't know that it is good. It could literally be like a slow menu where it's like, oh, I'd rather just click a thing in a menu than have to run around town to do it. It feels like it's just slowing it down. There is a bad way to do it, but the idea of you like being in a town, going around the town, talking to people or doing things sounds like an enjoyable way to sort of interstice the story and the combat and everything, and the in between, the low time. So it's not just always like prep for battle, do battle, prep for battle, do battle, prep for battle, do battle. That you have these sort of like, oh, we're gonna do this kind of gameplay for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it sounds
I
like
just
it could be
feel like
fun.
skipping the story removes like it's prep for battle, do battle, see story.
Yeah, but your story's boring.
You don't know
That's 'cause
that.
you
You
don't
don't know
like
that going in.
Okay, dude, I have listened to 15 hours of Fire Emblem story gameplay, story review, critique, story again. Okay, I think I understand how the story goes, and it just bores me. I'm not super into it. And if the gameplay didn't have the few things that I really don't like about those kind of games, where you just lose a character forever, for example, I'd have more fun with it.
Yeah, well,
That's why I'm thinking with this, I'm going to do both, because then I can keep saying I'm going to do both. And that's, Stu's favorite word for me to say. But I want to mix. So in Advance Wars, right, you have, welcome, Angry Canadian.
Hello.
In Advance Wars, you have your CO, your commanding officer, who has some kind of power. And each CO has a different power. Some of them heal all your troops. Some of them make your troops more powerful and do all of these kind of things.
yeah.
And in Fire Emblem, your characters die forever. This is a thing I don't like. But what I do like, and I think could be used better, is the just that, the fact that there are characters, right? Because in Advance Wars, your COs, your commanding officers, are the only characters in the game. Whereas the way I'm going to relate this into the Sengoku period is in Sengoku, your CO is kind of like your daimyo, right? Big lord of the whole area. But there are a lot of famous retainers. So you've got retainers to your daimyo that have like the whole wiki pages on who they are. And so taking this idea of, we have the daimyo CO, we have retainers that are sort of a named character. Maybe that's a better way to write it. A named character, and then we have grunts, right? And so on our grunt level, this is where we have troops that can be trained / we'll say bought at the bunker?
Barracks.
What's it called? Barracks. Yeah. So you can buy or train them from the barracks, and then to replace the originally hidden and then later on more expressed, what is that called? The support stuff, where like you put characters next to each other and they like do better, which was a secret at first and then became more available and relevant as the game went on. Replacing that with an idea that these retainers are named characters on the battlefield who could die, they are a threat, but that they have sort of support traits that they like rally the troops around them. So if there's certain types of grunts, or maybe just if there are grunts around them, they can be boosted by the fact that these retainers are nearby, in addition to some sort of CO daimyo powers. So you can sort of bum rush with your retainers and a group of grunts that they can keep rallying, whatever that retainer's power could be, to try to like get to the end. But then it puts your retainers at more risk. Or you can keep your retainers back because you like them and you want them to, stay alive and just keep throwing grunts at the front. If you're one of those people who just plays Advanced Wars by building medium tanks and just throwing medium tank after medium tank at the enemy, right?
So Wargrooves did something similar to that, except it was like the leader of the battle was on the field, and your goal was to kill them basically. And you also had one that was your lose condition. So as long as it's not like a lose condition, I'm probably fine with it. Otherwise, like I don't want to have to lose the game because I lose a character on the battlefield.
Yeah, I think that that makes sense in the way of like Advanced Wars. Like your CO is not a physical in the map.
Are you just breathing into the mic, Canadian?
Yeah.
No.
He's like got the heavy breathing noises.
Oh, my bad.
All this
No.
Strategy RPG.
Yeah, I'm just foaming at the mouth right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's waiting to talk about Path of Radiance.
That's odd. Yeah, sorry about
the
that.
idea that your CO is up there. The depending on a mission, I do think it's okay to be like, oh, we have to get this character or this intel or whatever this thing has to get out of this level. Like, I think that's okay if you really balance that level well. But I do hate that when you're playing Fire Emblem, not only do characters die forever, but if one character dies, you just lose the game. You're just like, all right, start over, bitch.
I mean, if you want to restart for the character, I guess. Or are you talking about
If Hector
Lord?
dies, I kept having
if
to
your
restart.
Lord dies, that's what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like you literally have the characters in the world that if they die, the game's over.
Sometimes it's more than one too, right?
Yeah, I mean, people die in war. And the whole idea is the fact that, people just die in war sometimes. Not
Yeah, but
everybody matters.
like, what was the
It
what was the
became-
little sword bitch's
they
name?
changed it
Who, like, I didn't
later.
train up,
Ren
and it
or
was like,
Eliwood.
oh, who cares if Eliwood dies? And then he died, and I was like, oh shit, like that ended my game. Like,
Yeah.
That's because 7 is unique. Most games
is.
don't have 3 lords.
most just have one.
Yeah, most games have just one.
Still not a fan of having that one on the field.
Yeah, that one's a bitch.
I've never found it to be a challenge, but
Yeah, there's some maps where it's forced deployed, but usually you can just keep them back.
nah, it's just most Fire Emblem games aren't really hard.
Yeah, true.
What? Okay, so the balance is bad, or they
what?
make
I was
a
gonna
game
say,
too
usually-
easy so you don't have to use a character? Why would I make a character you don't have to use?
I don't know if they're able to
Why
be
not-
killed
what do you-
off. You shouldn't be like have to use them.
Well, the thing in Fire Emblem is that you don't have to use most characters. It's just how you want to play it.
Yeah, you have options.
On the field, in a match, all the characters you pick, you got your 8 characters, like for example, on this match.
hmm
You're telling me you don't have to use 8 characters.
You could
right?
actually undeploy them, yeah.
Yeah, you can just not use 8 characters.
Yeah,
You
if you
could
want
use,
to be
like,
a boss
6
and just use
characters, right?
4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
okay.
have the Lord is basically always force deployed, except for very specific maps where they're like
So
unavailable.
what I'm saying
but-
is that if you have a game like Fire Emblem where you've got dynamic character numbers that you can have on each map, why is it your game is easily beaten with not all of those characters?
Well,
'Cause
some
that's just how it
just are
works.
easy to beat.
It depends on how it's balanced because later games
Then
they
it's
actually
not well balanced, is what I'm saying. It's like, why would you
Later
give it a
ga-
cap if you don't even need that many? Make the cap
Well, it's-
lower.
because that's the limit. I mean, it just changes how you play. It usually, like, it's depending on the game because something like Engage, they have very hard caps to EXP, so your characters aren't going to be over leveled, so you have to change how you play versus older games. Older games don't really have any kind of cap on EXP like that.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, because at least with Engage, you level up so quickly while you're playing the game. But these older games, it takes forever to level up. depending on like how often you use the character. At least that's what I've been noticing.
Well, it's mostly because ranged characters just don't get in enough combat. It takes them too long. That's why.
Yeah, other characters level up very quickly, like Oswin or, well, I guess Oswin's a bad example.
Well, I
since
mean, like even Marcus being promoted, he still levels up relatively quickly. He's gonna max out well before the end of the game if you use him.
Okay. Because I felt like engage everyone, to include the archers, were leveling up really quickly in engage.
Yeah, the XP formula is different in Engage. They
Yeah.
want you to be able to level characters up if they're a little bit behind. And they want the characters to generally hang out around the same level so they can have it balanced very evenly.
Yeah, they're even maps.
They want it to be more tactics focused instead of RPG.
That's another thing I'm still on the fence about is the idea of leveling
because Fire
the
Emblem
named characters.
for
Because
I mean, your game
as the
probably just
charac-
shouldn't have leveling in it.
because like as the characters level, you're then increasing the level of the enemies, and it's like like what kind of like difficulty curve are you really bringing out here, where you could just have everything be static and just change the types of enemies perhaps that you're doing.
And
or
the
number
reason
of
like
enemies,
Fire
right?
Emblem low manning in older games made a lot of sense is because older Fire Emblem games are more of an RPG. There's not that many Fire Emblem games that, even if they're a tactics game in terms of, you know, move units on the map and there's positional aspects to some of it, mostly it's an RPG.
How does that equate to me saying that the leveling mechanic is less useful as the enemy also levels up?
No, I was going back off the previous point.
Well, the enemies, they get different weapons as you progress through the game. So like you're starting out with, the enemies will have like weaker weapons, and then as you get far in the game, they have like much stronger weapons that are you're more prone to getting one-shotted by them later on in the game, especially if you're not carefully leveling them up. Your own
Is that
guys.
all that changes for the enemies? Is their weapons, not their actual base stats?
Not
No,
just
because
base.
they have different classes too. So like beginning of the game, they're like the lower classes or like their standard class, and then towards the end of the game, you'll start running into more promoted classes, and they're like, you know, they have higher stats and of course the better weapons as well. So there is the difficulty does ramp up, even though you can be grinding in the arenas, you know, for XP. You're still gonna be struggling with, at least for me, the boss. I don't know why. Every time I go do the chapter boss, it's like that's the battle, is doing the chapter boss. The regular units don't even like matter. It's that final boss that you got to fight. I'm always having to be careful how I approach him, because he'll one shot or two shot a lot of my units.
Yeah, they're just very strong.
They're broken sometimes. They're just stupid.
I just
Yeah.
depends on what they gave them. But generally, what happens in Fire Emblem is when you get higher level enemy units, those enemy units are going to be able to cover more distance because they're going to have more move speed. That's part of leveling up, and their stats are going to be increased, right? But also the weapons they get on level up can change too. And because
Right, but what? Okay, you guys
think-
aren't listening to what I am
Yeah,
saying.
I was gonna
though.
say, Blaine, I don't think leveling up helps your game.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to figure out. But also, like,
I mean, the way Advanced Wars does is like there are just units that are stronger. It's not like a level.
well, but I'm more asking like if you're in Advanced Wars, if you're in Fire Emblem, and this is me, and my characters are getting stronger from level 1 through, we'll say, what is this, 7, 6? I'm not gonna count it. And then I'm playing against enemies, and the enemy is also getting stronger as I go up through 1 through 6. And every time I fight the enemy, we're at an equal level. So like the ultimate difficulty curve isn't there unless the enemies are getting stronger faster than me.
So enemies do get stronger faster than you in Fire Emblem Engage, but
Okay.
generally, yeah, it's gonna be matched depending on how you are leveling up, how quickly you're leveling up.
So
But-
really it's just a punishment for people who don't learn to level up their own character.
Well, I mean, part of the reason why the enemies have a level curve is because if you decide to ignore objectives and don't kill as many enemies, you try to avoid fighting enemies, you're going to level up slower, you're going to level up less.
Okay, so the curve that can change is you could have a lower curve where
Yeah.
you will fight an enemy that's stronger than you, or
Yeah,
you're
the enemy
you know,
curve will be consistent.
The
every
enemy
time.
curve is always the same. but you do have the opportunity to curve faster.
Yeah.
So you control
generally ways
your
like that
level
will
curve.
work is like you'll have stat boosters, and if you have less units you're putting the stat boosters on, those units are going to be leveling up faster, basically.
I do have a question behind the scenes though, as to if the enemies have a sort of level curve.
It is actually
area
something that
they
exists.
hit.
Yes. The way it works in Fire Emblem is lots of the games will have enemies have growth rates as well, and it will randomly decide how many stats they level up from their base.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you could have a gradient here, and
Yeah,
then again, it sort of
The
feels
gradient
like
is,
you're just rolling two dice to figure out like, oh, am I having a more or less difficult time in whatever match?
Yeah, the way it works for Fire Emblem though is the curves are usually very low. The range of the enemies are very low. It's usually going to be like 3 stat points when the stat points get up to like 15 to 20. So yeah, it can matter, but oftentimes it's a very small difference between each enemy and like your whatever random roll the RNG decided to give you.
Okay. Anytime I'm gonna say I'm gonna use a term, not level, increase in type difficulty.
Because that's something you'll see more later as well. Particularly like in some of the older games like 4 and 5 Fire Emblem. You'll see that some in games beyond that, and Engage especially, is stabs on enemy units that inflict debuffs. And that's something that's only going to show up later in the game. And it comes in higher numbers.
Obviously, this would require like some real balance work, but the idea of the enemy typing reacting to the typing you continue to use through the game. So
the way
you keep using A, and A is strong against B and weak to C, and they start using C the more you use A.
It is a little more complicated. I suppose the way you'd work that is flags in terms of what units you brought to maps, and it would keep track of how many times.
I'm not asking how I would implement it. I'm asking if that would be fun. If you would enjoy a game where as you're playing it, maybe more and more gradually, like 4 or 5 levels, eventually the entire enemy team is now throwing out rock because you've been throwing scissors for so long.
I would generally recommend against it.
Okay, you think that...
One thing I would point to is the game made by I forgot what his name was, but it's basically XCOM except with the sea creatures. Phoenix something, I believe it was. Phoenix Point, yeah.
Phoenix Point.
Phoenix Point is a game you can go to for an example of this.
Yeah,
enemies will continually evolve over the game depending on where you're killing them and what you're using to kill them. And eventually, if you take too long to beat the game, they just they become resistant to everything.
Gotcha.
It could be okay, but in terms of balancing something like that to be fun, I would more so just recommend certain enemies, like if you're going against multiple different factions or commanders, they just have particular types of enemies they want to deploy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, you can balance the level easier.
But I had this thought, and I was like, yeah, man, that could be fun. Or at least, if it's not fun, it could force people to try the game differently. Because one thing that'll happen a lot is, like I was joking about the medium tank army, but there are people who just dump medium tanks into a game like Advanced Wars and just mow across the entire map.
I mean, one way, I'm not sure if it's the same for Advanced Wars, but one way Fire Emblem goes about this is the fact that you will have different routes that have totally different enemy like setups and stuff. Because that's something you have in Fire Emblem 7, and you can go to like 2 different areas in the late game, and they will have completely different enemy setups and have different weaknesses. Like you'll have flyers in one area and you'll have horse people in another who have different weapon weaknesses specifically. So if you actually do have a bunch of archers, it can be beneficial to go to the flying horse area who are weak to bows.
Okay.
By the way, is Path of Radiance the only game or first game where there was a magic triangle?
No.
Nope.
What other game has that?
The GBA
all
games.
The GBA ones.
Yeah,
really?
the ones I played had
Anima beats Light and Dark beats Anima.
No. For like Fire, Wind, and Lightning.
No,
you mean the Anima triangle?
That's
yeah.
Okay, so that's only Path of Radiance. Okay.
Yeah.
And Radiant Dawn.
Okay, and then what about the magical bushes that heal you? Is that only in that game as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually it's not. It's actually an awakening
The
as well.
magical bush. Will
Yeah, I
heal
remember
you.
Awakening would have like the random glittery spots for like weapons or XP and stuff. But I was like, wait, what is the magic triangle threw me
Also,
for a
the
loop.
reason they implemented that is because it replaces the old triangle of light, anima, and dark, because light and dark don't exist in Tellius, basically.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
really exist.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, it works for the story reasons why it doesn't exist.
That's why. Basically, your weapon triangle is the 3 different elements of anima.
Hmm.
Because now you have lightning, wind, and fire mages.
Another thing that I noticed too, I guess for both those games, did they get rid of the whole like you need to seize the castle or whatever in order to end the game, the chapter? Is it just some levels like if you beat the
Well,
final boss, it'll
yeah.
just automatically end the level? Because I did that
Yeah,
with the
usually
pirates.
they'll have different victory conditions.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
like,
I was shocked when that happened. I killed the pirate leader like too quickly, and then the chapter was over, and there was still like 2 enemies for me to fight.
yeah, maps like that are specifically defeat boss because the boss moves.
Okay.
That's an odd one. I like the idea of like if you've defeated everybody, that that match just ends, right? Like let's say there's enemy barracks, but you've got like your troops like on the barracks, and like they aren't going to be spawning anybody. It's literally just you clicking your character over to like finally like capture the base. Like just end it at that point, I think.
Yeah, that's a route map. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if it was like a capture the enemy base, like once there are no enemies on the screen and the enemy can't like spawn new enemies, like it's just literally you wasting turns to get over there and capture.
Yeah, you can set a
thing.
flag for both if you want.
Hmm.
Yeah, would make sense to me.
Route or capture.
Is restream being odd for you guys? Not Blaine, but you guys on this side?
Nope, it's just you people with weird phones.
I'm using Google Chrome, bro.
Chrome, brah.
Are you
Yeah.
on a laptop?
Nope, desktop.
Mine, like, do you use Chrome, Saros?
No, I use Brave, which is technically not Chrome. It's Chromium still.
Yeah, I think it just like kills your laptop when you use Chrome.
I gotta get that that Opera GX
Yeah,
sponsorship.
you should just not have a
grinding.
Mac.
No, I think it's for like Safari.
Well, you know how I would join and you guys would hear me go robotic?
Mhm.
That is because of Brave. So I've been testing it out. If I use Chrome, it doesn't do that. But if I use
Mm.
Brave, it'll just randomly make me robotic with my nice mic. So
Mm.
That's too bad.
BattleTech has this idea of
Yeah.
attrition.
I like Brave, so I use it on the side for like the chat, but I have to use Chrome to talk to you right now.
I like the idea of certain either retainers or daimyo having some sort of trigger at either a low percent of troops or something like that, where it's like maybe you have someone who like historically was known for like retreating and was really weak, and so if they start commanding less than 20% of the troops that they started with, that all of a sudden everyone has like a little bit of a debuff or something.
That should be really easy
or
to flag
or
for,
vice
yeah.
versa, someone who was really good at comebacks, like as soon as they're down to like 20 or 10%, that's everyone's like critting every time or something like that. That could be a fun mechanic.
That would actually not be fun at all, but you know you can do that.
Yeah, I can.
What's the matter?
I can attest.
RTSR is like some of the best runs people do in Dark Souls.
No, I was gonna say it's like yeah, they crit all the time. You want the enemies to be critting when they have like 5 people left.
Oh yeah, I was using the term crit as like some sort of buff, but like I love RTSR runs, and then also I am a big fan of if I can do it, the computer does it too.
I was say because with Advanced Wars stats, basically every crit would be an instant kill unless it's a major disadvantage.
For sure.
Attack.
Mm-hmm.
Something simple, maybe like a just I don't know.
It
10%
literally buffs
booster.
by 20%. Yeah. Yes, you can do that though. That's fair enough.
Yeah, that would be wild.
You
Just
could
everybody
also-
becomes insta killers.
Say, Fire Emblem doesn't usually employ flags like that, but they will have it if you reach certain points. Reinforcements deploy. Basically, whenever a character goes inside specific boxes. I talked to you about that on Fire Emblem 7 before.
Yeah. Color picker. Pick a tint of
I don't know if that works for an Advanced Wars game though.
I mean, you could, but it's like in terms of ticking, or tying it to how many units the enemy has, it works just well enough. I'm
Mhm.
sure you'd have no problem implementing that with an engine.
Bonk.
Then press OK. The next thing I want to have is some text on top of my button to know which console command I'm going to execute if I click on it. So I'm going to go back on the left, grab a text, and drop it on the button.
Text on the
Now
button.
text looks super small, but it's not
I think it's
really
funny
yeah.
how Michael likes 3-man, and I just hate it.
Oh, I just
Oh.
like it because it completely gets rid of the character tiles.
That's funny. I played a couple of those games and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to get used to 3-man because when my mother-in-law comes up for the summer, I'm sure she'll want to play some mahjong with us, and it's
Mhm.
I'll have to play 3-man.
Oh, is she
then.
Asian?
No, no, she just really likes dominoes and card games, and mahjong is both. So
Yeah.
So yeah,
I just know she'll enjoy it.
for Freeman, for 3-man, you just get rid of 2 through 8 of the character tiles. Then you're good.
And you get rid of one of the directions, right? Or do you leave
No,
it?
no. For North, you're able to Kita it, which is basically just like it's its own Han.
If you
Okay,
if you
nice.
draw it, you just get one extra Han.
And then you're able to draw a new tile.
Nice. And then you keep all the dragons and everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I hate 3-man.
Did you guys see which video game character is apparently recognized as the most, or it
Yeah,
was announced as the
Yeah.
most recognizable one in the world, or
mean,
something like that?
it's just
I don't
incorrect.
Is it not Pac-Man?
It's Lara
What you
Croft.
should be saying is it not Mario?
I mean, there are villages in Africa that know about Pac-Man but don't know about Mario. So
Do they know about Pikachu?
Pikachu. Pikachu is another good one, but I
Mhm.
could imagine villages in Africa that are trading Pokemon cards because we've sent them Pokemon cards.
Yeah, but none
I
of them
can't
will know
imagine
Mario.
villages in Africa playing Mario because we've sent them
Well, can you
SNESes. Like,
imagine villages in Africa playing Tomb Raider?
no, I mean they have a game called Tomb Raider, but it's not a video game. It's
Oh yeah, the last time I played a 3-man for Mahjong, I got matched up against 2 people that were in First Dawn, which is 2 ranks below the max for which is for being able to queue the mode I was going in.
Yeah.
It's like that's great. I'm glad I'm playing against people that have probably played hundreds of matches of this.
That happens to me all the time, dude.
It's like why am I playing this? This is as low as they can go, by the way, without ranking down lower. So
the 20th BAFTA Game Awards. What the heck is BAFTA?
We have to.
BAFTA. Tell me what your acronym stands for, BAFTA.
I forgot what theirs was.
I don't want to support you. I just want to know what this means.
The British Academy Film Awards.
How is that not on their website?
It's on Google.
It's easier to Google things than it is to look at their actual site.
Yep.
Second spot is Mario, and the third spot is Agent 47. Yeah, we know this is bullshit.
How
Yeah.
about wait? What the? Why is Agent 47 isn't even in the top 100? Probably.
It goes Lara Croft, Mario, Agent 47, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sackboy from Little Big Planet,
Sackboy is in the top 1,000, bro.
then my
Actually,
boy
I mean,
Pac-Man.
Sackboy's-
I knew Power Pellets would be in here. Link, Master Chief.
Master
Maybe in the
Chief is
Western
higher
world,
than-
it's Master Chief.
I was gonna say Master Chief is probably higher than Lara Croft.
It's higher than
100%.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
Kratos, Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3.
That's wild.
Who is that?
Is this like a
She's
Twitch
she's just one of
survey?
She's one of the main characters of the game. But it's like, come on.
When is
That's
this list
insane.
from? Today,
Yeah, it's been making the rounds on Twitter.
Thursday,
Also,
11th of April.
This is most iconic characters of all time.
Oh, that's when they're
Character
celebrating
from
the thing,
Baldur's
okay.
Gate 3.
Right?
You know,
It's
I'm not
awesome.
surprised the Brits would choose Tomb Raider, being a little biased there.
A little bias, yeah, maybe. Steve
Steve
from Minecraft might
Pikachu.
be pretty popular if a bunch of kids in India All Love Steve Minecraft runs, because
Also,
when
Arthur
I started playing
Morgan.
Minecraft, that's when we got our Indian viewers. So like, I don't know, maybe by the numbers, Steve can take it. What's up,
Dude,
Jay?
Arthur Morgan
What
shouldn't
up,
be on
man?
this list anywhere.
No,
He is not remotely iconic. Nobody knows who that guy is.
Jay, who's the most iconic video game character?
Probably Mario
Mm.
by a long shot.
Good guess.
Wrong.
It's actually Laura Croft.
That's probably one of my favorite video game characters.
I
Especially
think calling Laura Croft iconic is fair, but she's not the most well-known character of all time.
I would say in terms of the other media she's been in, she's pretty big. Like, because she's had like movies.
she
and
is a
stuff.
popular character, but she's not on the same level as Mario.
Yeah,
And
did she
Nathan
have a
Drake's
$1
not the
billion
20th.
movie?
She's not on the same level as Pikachu.
No, another one would probably be either Tifa or Cloud. I would say they're pretty
Even
tight.
that I would still say is pretty stuck into video games versus you know, even Master Chief probably has more understanding across the world just because
Yeah,
of his
and-
multimedia, like the books and everything.
And then there's the Halo TV series out right now.
Yeah, that thing exists. The BAFTA Game Awards. Who votes in these?
Journalist.
She has the most remembered butt, probably. Yeah, let's go with butt.
I do like the new Laura Croft as opposed to the classic one though.
Oh yeah, Jay, I forgot to message you. Send me your PayPal.
Oh,
Give me
don't
your
worry about that.
PayPal.
Don't worry about that, man. That's on me.
Okay, I mean, you're right. It's not very much.
Yeah,
It was one hot dog.
I was happy to get you a hot dog, man. No worries.
I was like, I was thinking I'd probably have you pick up something else at some point, but I was like, it never happened. So yeah.
Hey, man, it's what friends do. Is we cover each other
Yeah.
sometimes.
Gonna get
We
out.
get each
dog.
other street meat.
Get
With no
some-
onions, you freaking
It's,
weirdo.
I can't eat onions.
I know.
Blaine, when you said street meat on Saturday, I silently laughed to myself.
You've never called it street meat?
No, I knew
Dude, we
what you
called it
meant.
street meat every time we'd roll out of a concert at like,
Really?
midnight, or you roll out of a bar at like 2 a.m. and you're like, oh man, that smells so good. Give me some street meat. And then you get the cream cheese and onions on that, throw some jalapenos on it. Mm.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a good hot dog, and I'm not normally a big hot dog fan.
Yeah, it was good.
These dogs always
And
deliver.
I'm pretty much always a hot dog fan. I like hot dogs.
I mean, I don't hate them. They're just definitely not like my first choice at a barbecue.
Wait, Jay, clarify. Do you mean the new Laura Croft from like the new games, or the remake, the remaster version where she's rounded?
The new games where she's more realistic.
The Adios Montreal ones.
Yeah, I like the new one totally fine.
Or-
I had fun playing it.
Yeah, they're fun.
I
to
just
play.
wanted to clarify for everybody.
Yeah, those were some really fun games. The new ones.
They're like Metroidvanias too, which is really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you
I-
don't have much backtracking, but she gets new abilities, unlocks the next area of it. Yeah.
That's
I don't know. I
I've
just
only
always
played
like
it
how
at the arcade. The arcade
she's
game
literally.
sucks.
I just like that she's literally not afraid of anything. She's like, oh, ancient demons, let's keep pushing.
Wild bear, jaguars,
Just
you
shoot
name
'em.
it.
Yeah.
We good.
She's like, oh, I've never used a firearm before. Let me get this AK-47 and just get some chain headshots.
Brian Posehn. Is that who you're talking about? Oh, Bert Kibler. Apparently, you sound like Bert Kibler from
Who?
Big Bang Theory.
Me?
You just sound like Jay to me. I don't know. It's just always.
I know nothing about Big Bang Theory. I think I watched like 1 or 2 episodes.
I've watched a few. It's
Hey,
it's
hey.
definitely one that I will change the channel on, like back when it was on, because it would be like, oh, this episode's kind of funny, or another episode would just like not hit. I'm like, doesn't matter if I watch it because there's no continuity here.
Okay, so is it Jiminar? How do you pronounce his name?
I always say
Okay.
Jim and Ure.
Okay, Jiminari.
It's not how you pronounce it, but I like it.
That's like the last person with dementia I want to be compared to.
I mean, is there a first person with dementia you want to be compared to?
No, but not Joe Biden.
Yeah, anytime someone's name is Sleepy, then you're like, oh.
I do get sleepy quite often, to be fair. So Sam wanted me to ask you if you'd be down for doing the waifu panel at KomoriCon.
KomoriCon?
Yeah.
Is that another local Seattle one?
No, it's in Portland. It's a little. It's about a quarter of the size of
November 8th
SakuraCon.
through 10th.
How much are the tickets for that? I mean, I'm probably going to be free, I assume.
Tickets. Usually it happens in the fall. I think tickets are probably like $40 each.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
probably
it's
do
November
that.
8th through 10th. Right now, the current price for the full weekend is $60,
Yeah, it's not too bad.
and that changes July 27th.
And SakuraCon's getting close to 100 now, so
Right. I don't
it's in
know
Poland.
that I will have anything going on, so I can say probably for right now, but I'll have to talk.
I'll tell Sam we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's a little whiles away, so
Yep.
Miles away.
I think it's like in September or October.
November.
Yeah,
Yeah.
November.
November 8th through 10th.
And it's much smaller than SakuraCon. It's like maybe a sixth of the size.
Where is it?
Yeah, it's only in one building. Let's go.
Well, SakuraCon's really large for what it is, I hear.
Yeah,
It
it's,
is. Yeah.
They
It
got
is big.
so much space.
all the other like anime conventions, like the Renton Community College like anime convention, the Jet City Comic Con, like all of those take place in like one hotel like rented room.
Yeah.
Then you've got SakuraCon, it's like 2 buildings.
Well, my first SakuraCon ever, I think they said there were like 480 attendees. And that was considered big at the time, and now it's pushing like 12,000 or something
Yeah.
crazy like that.
Guest events. Where?
What kind of interesting goods do they got there?
All kinds, like anime merch. They have some like they have a lot of. They have a big art scene, like crafted stuff. There's a lot of just random non-anime stuff. Like,
They even have a bestiality dance party.
yeah, unfortunately they do.
Oh my word!
Oh, you weren't joking about that. What the hell?
No, why
No,
would you care? Why would you joke about something like that? It's horrifying.
Blaine, I told you about the depravity at the SakuraCon dance, right?
oh, I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
you did.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
wasn't there.
usually peek in on the rave just to look
Yeah.
because it's hilarious, but we did not this year.
There was this dude that was doing some cool like 80s era breakdancing. That was pretty sweet to watch.
Until
you were
like
gonna say, like,
kick
Coke or
some
something.
cosplayer's wings, and
Like
then
all
they get
those-
all pissed off.
Yeah, no, the first time the way he got on the scene is he pretty much like Navy SEAL dove into the middle of a ring. And then he just top spinning like MC Hammer. It was actually kind of sweet. I was like, this guy's talented.
Good for that guy.
But everyone else sucked, myself
Tell us about
included.
the wares. Yeah, exactly. How far is this from the Grand Prix?
Are you still looking at KomoriCon?
Yeah, I just found the Oregon Convention Center. I'm just trying to remember where the hell the Grand Prix takes place.
No, he didn't need his own cardboard box, but that would have been sweet if you would have thrown out some cardboard. That would have really added to the old school.
Portland International Raceway. There you are. There you are. You're way up there. Okay.
The thing that annoyed me though is there was one DJ. So when I like dance music, I like really strong drops.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one artist that had like 0 drops. It was
Annoying.
essentially hip hop, which there's nothing wrong with hip hop. I like it, but it didn't remind me of like a club dance scene. And then the next DJ after that had like these crazy wicked acid drops, like they were just super heavy banging. It was awesome, and so it was kind of cool seeing people go from kind of low key to just losing their minds.
That's always fun. Was there actual like fun cosplay on the dance? Because like that's the best part of the rave is seeing people in cosplay going. But then there's some years where you're like, oh, you all were ready for this, and it's just a bunch of people with glow sticks ready for a rave, and you're like, ugh, I don't want to see ravers. I want to see cosplayers at a rave.
There was
I
one,
want
the
to see
one
my
that I,
waifus on the dance floor.
the one that I remember the most was a Master Chief cosplayer who actually like LED'd his visor.
Oh, there you go. That
That
would
was
be fun.
pretty
Sick.
And there was like a Five Nights at Freddy. Like, do you remember that faceless Bonnie cosplayer?
Yeah, yeah.
He was
I think
there.
we
and
followed
he
them
was-
around for a while we were looking for figures.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was there, and he like weaved LEDs into his and fiber optics and all this stuff. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
There was
Do you
a guy.
remember
with-
when Virgin Killer sweaters were really popular?
Oh yeah,
There's an entire group. My buddy Will. I think Serranos met Will. I don't remember if you met Will, Jay. But he kind of looks like a Viking. So him
Yeah.
and a bunch of his friends all put on Virgin Killer sweaters, and like one of them was like Batman all weekend. So he had his Batman cowl and the paint and everything, and was just
Oh.
like in this VK sweater, like, and they like went into the rave, and it was just hilarious to watch this guy who was like, I don't know, just falling out of a Virgin Killer sweater as he like tried to rave without
Was
getting
Will
kicked
the
out.
bigger guy?
He looks like a
little
Viking,
bit
like
taller.
long
Yeah.
hair, and then
Yeah, a
also
lot of
long
hair.
beard.
Yeah, because I think we ran into him in the elevator.
We also ran into him outside. I was like, "Well," and like he turned.
wasn't he at the booth I originally found you at for the weekend?
Probably. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was at the second panel too.
Yeah.
Good friend Will.
But most cosplays were pretty risque, you know. I think there were a couple Virgin Killer sweaters.
That makes sense.
But there were some really cool things too. Most people did like light up variation cosplays.
That would be fun. Do some kind of cosplay that was specific for the rave.
Someone had these really like they had
Oh,
kind
how
of
many Rebeccas and Lucys were there? That's the real question.
Oh,
We need that
so-
cyberpunk cosplay on the dance floor.
you know, there were surprisingly not that many. I think I saw like one.
I think there was when I went out to take the phone call from my lawyer during the AMVs. There was a Lucy cosplayer with like a bunny like ear version, like taking photos. And that was like the main one that I remember seeing.
See, I'm glad you clarified because anytime someone says Lucy, I immediately think of Fairy Tale Lucy,
No,
and
Shonen
so
watchers.
Yeah, that's a great take.
I don't like Fairy Tale. I'll just say that. I think it's
Never
probably
mind.
objectively worse. Like, there's a couple characters I like, but objectively, it's one of the worst shonens like out there in the last 10 years. I'm sorry if you like it.
I
I've heard enough people say.
I'm sorry that you like it.
I'm sorry that you have regressed mentally. I apologize for your your handicap.
I get to listen to so many people just shit on Naruto, so I think that's fair to say.
It's true.
Naruto ain't shit though.
That said, there was this guy that at the dance, he had the sickest, like he had Sharingan lenses, but they were like iridescent.
Oh, that would be wild. Looked like a black light showing him off, kind of a deal, iridescent, or
Yeah, and so once in a while he'd walk away and you just see these two like glowing red dots.
I'm all
It was sick, yeah.
Sharingan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course we do. I don't know what that means though.
But-
Amazing.
As far as merch goes, yeah, like most of it is just like retail kind of anime stuff. I mean, they have a lot of crafty things. Jessica ended up buying like 300 stickers
Oh,
from the art-
wait. Like at one time or just like across the weekend?
just across the weekend. Like, she was like, "You want to see my stickers?" I was like, "Sure." And she handed me like this whole like huge envelope that weighed like a pound.
This is massive bunch of
I was gonna say is like me and Katie being together going shopping for stuff. If I had more budget to spend, never leave. Just never leave.
God, Katie can
It would
talk
just-
to everyone
would-
forever.
It would never stop. We would just be on the floor the whole time.
I would
People-
say if you're going to spend money, do what I do and just save like all year for it.
Yeah.
Like what I do is I
Dude,
put
I was
away.
not expecting deals. Those like actual last day deals because a small
Yeah.
shop came up from Oregon and didn't want to bring their stuff
Mhm.
back south. I was like,
Perfect.
damn.
I will say though that one Gundam guy that's like, if you keep asking me, I'm gonna add 10%.
Did we
That
just
guy was-
left? Yeah, that was. I
That-
was like,
that
okay,
was-
bro. Like,
It's like screw.
What happened with
screw
that?
Oh, just everybody had
left.
signs that was like Sunday sale 5%, 10%, all these can buy 2 and get 10%, all this kind of stuff. So I was just like, "Oh, hey, you got any of those Sunday sales like everybody else?" He's like, "Well, what happens is we add 5% every time you ask me." And we just,
No,
we
he
just
said
walk.
10.
Was it 10? Oh.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
just walked away. I was like, I'm not even going to respond to you.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not like it's not like we tried to dicker and he said that. Like he just immediately said that. Just
Yeah, that's just what he jumped to. That's his like
Yeah.
default response.
and I was telling my father-in-law that, and he's like, because one thing the guy said is like I have to turn a profit, and then my father-in-law was like, but how much does he think he's gonna spend sending everything back?
Yeah, exactly.
How are the prices, Blaine, for
so-
like the people selling them there?
So depending on the one, so like when I went back in, I do this thing where if I see it and I want it and I've been wanting it for a while, I'll just buy it. So like heavy arms, I found it and I was like, ooh, they have it, I want it. Of course, I find it later for like a little bit less of or a little bit cheaper, but this was $25, but there was another booth that was selling it for $20 for the standard heavy arms. And then the rest of these I got at a table for 40% off, and the HGs were all listed at 25 and the RG was listed at 40. So
You
I
better
ended
show.
up-
Oh,
show
I'll
the
say you better show DJ the V Gundam because you got him all excited now.
the V Gun. I don't have a V Gundam. So I have a
Turn A.
Pirate RG now
Yeah, it's probably turn A.
that I paid. What would that be? 25 for. Turn A that I spent 16 on. Same thing with the Iron Blooded. That went from 25 at 40% off, and then the Sandrock. So it was like I never see the deals.
No, I was actually surprised that things weren't like there were some things that were cheaper there than online. Because my Best
sure.
Buy, one of my Nendoroids, I think I paid like 80 straight, which kind of sounds like a lot, but online it's
Yeah.
like 120.
Oh, for sure.
And the ones that are really popular just seem more expensive, aren't they?
Well, I think if I didn't buy that Nendoroid on Friday, I probably wouldn't have been able to get it all weekend.
Yeah.
Because it's an Overlord character, which is a popular anime, and it was the only booth I actually saw that Nendoroid at.
You actually went back and picked up the Nendo?
That was one of the first things I bought. It was the Sheltier Nendo.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, you need to buy that.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not like all popular series have expensive merch, but there are series that sell a lot of merch that it makes it more expensive.
Mhm.
And Overlord is one of those. They have a very, very big fan base outside of just the anime.
And like I'm glad we bought that Albedo statue because there was no Albedo merch on Sunday.
It was all
Oh,
gone.
nice.
Like
Yeah,
it was all eaten up.
Yeah, and for me, I really love just being able to see the art in person, seeing what it actually is, instead of just buying it online.
How big
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. Sometimes you're like, okay, 12 by 14, and you measure it out, but you don't have something else that's like the same size. Like I have this cutting mat that is 13 and a half by 17 and a half, and this piece of paper is 8.5 by 11. You're trying to like see like, is this gonna work? Versus when you're looking at it, you're like, oh, it's exactly what I need for that spot in my house.
And I'm mostly going to be buying like some frames to actually fit. I know where I'm going to be putting the stuff. I have enough space on the wall.
Nice. Just got our frames today.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
I
think-
never used frames before, but I kind of need them because my aunt has been kind of tearing them down.
Michael's will have frame deals. That's usually one of the
Yeah.
best frame places to go is Michael's, which is
Okay.
funny because of your name.
Also, I would recommend just keeping your eye on thrift shops too.
Oh, for sure.
Because there's times we
Goodwills.
found like actual poster frames that people just didn't unwrap, like they just couldn't hold on to them anymore, for like $3.
Oh, that's great.
It's like was it an old episode of Becker or was it Frasier where they had that piece of art that they were trying to sell, and then these two gay guys finally like come over to they're like, can you believe what that is? And they're all excited about it, and they go to buy it, and they're like, what? So you really like the art? They're like, the art? Do you know how much this frame is worth? Like,
Dude, frames are expensive, man. Like
it's so true.
I know people who
No.
learned how to just cut glass and make their own 'cause they're so expensive.
My dad needed a frame for something, but it was a weird size. So he went like he took us all joyriding around
Of course.
Arizona just looking for this damn frame for a few
Yeah.
hours.
That sounds right.
But speaking of prints, I think my favorite purchase of the whole weekend was that Ava Unit 2 print. Dude,
Oh, nice.
That print's sick.
The
I'm so
open mouth one. I think I got that.
Yeah.
Because I asked him, I was like, "Do you guys have any online shop?" He's like, "I'm just the guy that sits here. They have they have a Deviant Art, and that's like where they post most of their stuff." Welcome, Stu, the flawed man of God.
Y'all making me get autistic about frames because I used to work at a frame shop.
You were the guy that was charging too much for wood.
Dude, those things are expensive, but seriously, if you've got something that you think is worth money, make sure you get acid-free mats. Make sure you get good glass on there. It's legitimately very important.
It's so true.
I've got a
Yeah, because I don't plan to have many pieces of art on my wall. I'm gonna spend and get a good one so it stays in perfect condition.
yeah.
Where-
My mantelpiece is a very large signed by the race car drivers and the artists, like Ron Fellows, C5R at Daytona, 24 hours at Le Mans, or 24 hours Le Mans at Daytona. It's a great print, but like that cost me like $180, but the frame was probably like twice that once I finished building it and everything, because it's all custom done.
Yeah, it has to be cut to the right size. It has to have good detail. It has to actually be well made in terms of the frame itself as well.
If you've got something that you want to be in good condition in 20 years, then you need to invest in
Yeah,
it.
like this is a piece of furniture you're buying.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe not like as important as a bed, but you should always be looking to get high quality furniture.
Okay.
Unless you are just in a little crappy apartment.
Well, I mean, it just comes down to how much do you value
Yeah.
what you're putting in the frame. Like, is it just like a poster
There
that
it
it's
Yeah,
nice,
there
you
you
liked
go.
it, you're gonna hang it up for a few years, but if something happens to it, you're not will bent out of shape. Yeah, get one of the
$10
poster-
plastic one that just kind of fits together from Walmart. You're like, yes, it's just a temp thing, but
Yeah,
now
see,
that I'm an adult and my stuff is cooler. So yeah, this guy, he didn't have like an online. He's like, I don't think he's a shop, but like here's his Deviant Art, and I was like, sweet, I'll take it, because
That only has 16 favorites.
like DeviantArt, what is this, 2010?
right, but he has all of the Cowboy Bebop ships as like little like promo posters with their little specs in the background,
Mhm.
and I was like, ooh, that's nice, but wasn't nice enough for me to pick up yet.
And what's unfortunate is there's so few options other than DeviantArt. You're like going to Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah,
What about Etsy?
Pixiv.
Yeah,
I mean, you can use Etsy, but it's not really good for a gallery.
I don't know. I'm not gay, so I don't go to those places.
Yeah, Etsy is very much a storefront.
The new Etsy meta is buy something on Temu and sell it on Etsy. Okay, and we
Yeah.
all know the truth.
Yeah.
It does seem like there's a lot less, like a lot of low effort stuff on Etsy right now.
Mhm.
It's
The
just
one
like
that gets me
YouTube for
is-
crafts now, I guess.
The one that gets me is the 3D prints that are like just like I know the model. I've seen it on the websites. I'm like, you didn't make that. What? This is so wild that you're just like, well, I printed it and I can. Yeah, I mean, I guess you did, but like, okay.
Yeah, it'll be like 3D print, unpainted,
Yep.
$400.
The stock like gray, and you're like, okay.
Hey, if
So-
it's cheap Warhammer figurines, man, you're gonna make some money.
There you go. That's the real true.
It's not Warhammer.
So, who said they worked at a frame shop, and where did you work?
That was Stu.
I did. It was a local chain here in Virginia called Ben Franklin, but like,
Yeah,
so we were like,
Great name.
we have one here. It's in Bonnie Lake.
We have a Ben Franklin.
Yeah, there's like one in Bonnie Lake. When I used to paint and I lived in Bonnie Lake, that's where I got like all of my stuff.
it's very weird. Like all the ones in here went out of business when the owner died and everything. They Michaels, I think, bought them.
That makes
Okay,
sense.
real quick. Guess where the other location is, Jay. So there's one down in Bonnie Lake. The other one, I'll tell you, is north.
Bellingham?
Monroe.
Oh.
Go to
It's the-
Cracktown to get your frame and craft supplies.
Dude, I've been to some before that are kind of wild because like you go to the Ben Franklin that I worked at was basically a Michaels.
Yeah.
You know, you go there, you get yarn, you can get whatever, and you know, it's just all sorts of craft materials. But if you go to the one at like the Outer Banks in North Carolina, it's nothing but cheap ocean stuff, like going to the beach stuff, like the cheapest boogie boards and, you know, plastic, you know, sandcastle stuff, all that stuff.
They used to have these really sweet deals on like painting canvases. Like normally a canvas, like a regular, I don't know, like a 3x4, usually costs upwards of $25-$30. And at Ben Franklin, they would have sales where you can get them for like $8.
We
And
used to
so-
mark everything on sale.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't on sale, we just put it on sale, like double the price for the real cost, and then
Yeah.
here's your sale price.
Bastard, you did it. It was
Well,
you.
you make a point because anyone that paints on canvases, they typically make their own. They're so expensive anyway.
And there's some hobbies out there. Oh wait, who am I talking to?
I was gonna say. I always love the canvas meta of like, all right, I can get 3 of these that are the same square footage as 2 of those, and you're like doing the math for like how big of a wall you're trying to cover, because we like to get just blank canvases and like just do our own like paint and colors and stuff that we can kind of match whatever the room vibe is. But it's just always you go down there. All right, we get 20 1 foot by 1 foot canvases and just pepper the whole wall. Like you miss your art supplies.
And then when I was a broke college student, what I learned how to do was just like buy a bunch of really thin plywood and then just gesso it.
That works. That works great.
I mean, that's very old school. That's actually what they did back in the Renaissance most of the time.
Is it just on some piece of wood that's been covered with that plastery stuff?
Yeah, like wood, stone. Some people use canvas, but
This is
usually
exactly
like-
how the Ninja Turtles did it.
What the hell is gesso anyway? Gesso?
it's like a paint type sealant. Like what you do is you put a layer on it of like on fresh
I'm
canvas.
familiar with using it. I've never thought about what it is material wise.
It's pretty much like white acrylic paint. You know how when you buy
Chalk
like
gypsum pigment.
yeah,
Interesting. It's almost
You
like
can-
mud.
you can do the same thing by just taking like non-oil white paint and just painting on things with it first.
It's funny. I have a bunch of drywall mud. I feel like I could just water it down and do the same thing.
You could, man. I'm a big believer of going to like Lowe's, Home Depot just for stuff to use out of the box.
There you go. Stu was
Most
talking about
of my aquarium stuff came from Lowe's.
10% off for veterans.
I tried 3 times to get in the military. I couldn't
You tried 3 times? Wait, why 3?
because I have cerebral palsy.
Oh.
I actually
Okay.
almost passed the test, but my feet would sit flat.
Mm.
Oh, the duck walk?
Yeah.
I feel like they just said like, oh, your feet are flat. But the big thing for me was they're like, you're colorblind. And I was like, I've been working on cars my whole life. I can work on a plane. They're like, but you're colorblind. I'm like, I don't, bastards. And I left.
Yeah.
I didn't go back 2 more times though. I was like, fuck you.
Oh yeah, no, I really wanted to be a soldier, partially because of the duty, but also because of the sweet benefits.
That's some pretty good ones.
Because
It comes
Sweet
with
bennies.
a lot of back pain, but and knee
Yeah.
pain.
like on one hand,
That's gonna
you
happen
could-
anyways.
I was gonna say when you're me and you've already got that, then you might as well get the bennies too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're willing to take a reasonable chance to die in the event of a world conflict, like they'll pay for your school, they'll pay for your
I
medicine.
mean, I say that's a pretty low chance, honestly.
Yeah, and you don't
Maybe
have to do
less.
that.
I mean, for
You
your
don't have to
generation,
do-
maybe, because you're just gonna go sit behind a computer and play Drone Strike the video game, whereas
in real life.
Yeah, but I have
Yeah,
to sleep on an uncomfortable bed on a ship. It's like, come on, that sucks.
Should have solved a Rubik's cube. I should have.
So I was an army brat growing up, and I can tell you, like 80% of soldiers, all they did was basically do glorified office work.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
They don't tell you about, who cuts the grass at those places.
Oh, the privates all do.
Where were you?
Where
were your
the
parents
privates get all the bad jobs. As long as you shut up and do what you're told, you'll move up to sergeant eventually.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you start making almost six figures depending on where you serve. But the thing that sucks is you, like, a couple times a year, they'll deploy you somewhere to do field training, and you're usually gone about 2 months. And the other thing that sucks is depending on, like, what platoon you're in, they could just say, hey, next weekend you're moving all the way to Florida or something.
Who the hell are these guests? What do you mean? Who the hell are these guests? This is Jay.
I thought you left, Alex.
Who the hell is Alex Moore? How about that?
I thought you were out of here, Alex.
J A.C. Serranos.
And then Michael Moore's brother.
And we have the angry Canadian not talking, just like Michael.
Hey, I'm talking.
I'm here.
It's better when Michael doesn't talk.
Eat shit stew.
Oh my gosh!
Flipping off the camera that's not on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
you would do that.
Blaine, help me resolve the debate Sam and I were having about Khan.
Okay, I'll try.
So, at our second panel, who do you think were thirstier, the male fan or the male contestants or the female ones?
It's usually the female contestants.
People voting for Albedo.
It's
yeah. I don't know that one girl that was repping the Game of Thrones character.
Oh god!
Oh, you're talking about the people repping. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was thirsting.
Yeah, it's always the female fans because they get to sort of explain and like dive into the nuances of the mindset, and so you get to hear them be a lot more intimate with their desires versus the guys who are like, oh shoot, I've got to convince a whole room of people. I better say everything I know about this person now, and they just kind of go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Remember that guy who was like very professorly?
How they look at my face.
Yeah.
Well, Albedo did very well, so I guess your face is well loved.
As soon as someone says
Pucker up.
Albedo's my wife, I was like, oh, she's gonna win for sure.
I thought for sure We're Gonna Murder a Village was gonna knock them out of the category.
Hey, there's some depravity at SoccerCon.
We just need to make all of the panels all ages, so you know.
Right. That one lady that nominated Sir Integra, I was like, good choice.
Boom. Yeah, I'm glad Integra made it as far as they did.
I kind of wish that since Sir Integra was nominated, I wish that someone from the Husbando panel would have nominated Father Anderson.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good one.
He's probably one of my top 10 favorite anime characters. Period.
I love the Anderson from the not bad lip reading. What is it called? The Abridged series. They give him the hyper Scottish voice or whatever.
Hmm.
Do you remember that one really almost meme level English clip of him talking about if anyone doesn't love the Lord?
The second verse, same as the first.
Yeah,
that's from the Abridged series. Yeah,
it's just super English.
No, I love all of that.
You know, watching Windbreakers right now, and I am more sympathetic to people that don't like tsunderes, because once I see a tsundere I'm not attracted to, then it's just like, you're out of here.
What?
I'm done. I'm done with you. I don't
Uh,
want to play with you
A
anymore.
tsundere is the thing that happens where someone likes you, but like they don't want to show that they like you. So like a boy in middle school could be a tsundere to a girl he likes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But in Japan, it's like an entire like subset of like waifu genre.
It's not like I like you or anything, but stomps your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to really like Tsundere, but eventually it got to where like all the Tsundere characters were like the same and one dimensional.
They always were.
Like they all say
I
Asuka's
mean,
the
not
that
one
happens to a lot
dimensional.
of characters, though. Like
Asuka
Archetype.
was the best. Asuka was the best Tsundere.
Yeah, they got
Asuka
into,
was the
got into that,
first Tsundere you knew of.
they got into that backstory
Never forget your
and
first.
Yep.
really gave her a reason to be a tsundere. That's
There
the real
was-
difference.
Next thing
Asuka
you
was
know,
like Asuka was like my first ever waifu when I was like 14.
Mm-hmm.
Age appropriate.
Yep.
Samesies.
I remember for Christmas my grandma got me like this Asuka poster because she saw me watching Evangelion one time and she noticed that I kept rewinding Asuka scenes.
remember we were talking about Stu and we were like, oh, what's like the age appropriate age for all this different anime? Look, grandma's getting us posters now.
yeah.
It was sick. I was like, where'd you get this? She's like, Suncoast. Remember Suncoast?
No.
He kept rewinding the scene with the hospital room. I don't know what was going on.
No, not that
The
one.
scene
not
on the
that one.
aircraft carrier when you meet her for the first time.
When we were
Also a good
14,
one.
I don't even think the hospital scene existed yet.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the ones where her and Shinji were in the apartment goofing off.
Oh yeah.
That makes
You want to
sense.
kiss?
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of the best.
But yeah, so Suncoast used to be this like back when malls were still relevant. There used to be kind of like a video / media store called Suncoast, and they were like well known for carrying like a lot of anime merch, like manga and stuff like that.
Mm.
Do you remember Suncoast, Blaine?
No, I don't remember Suncoast at all.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound familiar, at least. I don't
Yeah,
remember a
they-
lot of like anime like merch stores outside of like Chinatown. Because mostly we were just going to the like Scarecrow Video and the other rental video stores that were like little mom and pop shops to get their anime section.
It was I would say it's a little more upscale of I Love Scarecrow. But it was the same kind of thing.
Pop remembers some coast.
Yeah. I grew up in
Farm remembers.
Lakewood, Washington, and if you've ever been to Lakewood, the Lakewood Center, I think, used to be the Lakewood Mall.
Yeah, don't go to Lakewood today, but
It yeah,
it's not as safe anymore, but
I mean, to be fair though, some parts of Seattle are way more dangerous now.
they can be. They sure can be. I just remember my I had a I'll call him a coworker, and he was like, "Hey, check this out!" And he showed me his Ring camera footage of like a crackhead like trying to bust down his back door, and I was like, "Whoa, that's wild." He's like, "Yeah, he's harmless. He doesn't know what he's doing." I was like, "Yeah, but he could be doing really bad things." And he's like, "Yeah, but if he
it's like
gets
there's
in, it's
people out
not
in
going
the
to be a
wilderness.
problem." And I was like, "Oh, okay, good." Like,
In
People out in
Lakewood,
the wilderness when the bears are coming around, they're like, "Yeah, they don't know how to get in the house until they do."
I mean, just when you grow up in an area, you just kind of learn to deal with the pitfalls, right?
exactly, or the pit bulls, as it were, be in where I grew up.
So I went to Lake Louise Elementary School in Lakewood as a kid, and it was right on the corner where like suburb met ghetto.
Nice. That's the perfect place to be. The mixing of the waters.
And once in a while,
brackish.
like just entire blocks would be closed off, and it was because there was some sort of like gang conflict or something. Like just right next to the school. So it's like when we moved to Colorado and it was a little more upscale, like people would always talk about like, I don't know what I'd do if I lived in a gang area. And me, I was like, as long as you don't get shot, it's not super bad. Like,
No, exactly. If you
Just
survive
don't-
the shooting, you'll be okay.
yeah, just don't stare at people. You'll be fine.
And here I was thinking that Washington was only just hipsters.
Nah.
Oh no.
You gotta remember, the hipsters only exist in like one part of the city, and all of the microbreweries. It's like, so they're
All the
80%.
gentrified areas
yeah.
and being currently under gentrification areas.
80% of the hipsters are in college campuses.
Yeah, or specifically Cap Hill.
Yeah. Boy, Cap Hill, that's a place. Remember the Cap Hill Autonomous Zone?
I
Or
do.
the
I went to
jazz?
it while it was autonomous, and it was fun. I had a blast, and I put a video online.
Cool.
I was like, "This place is actually pretty fun." And then someone died like 2 weeks later.
I gotta find
Yeah.
out where my cousin moved to up there. He moved to Seattle. I just don't know where.
There's a
think-
lot of Seattle to move to. That's for sure. Here you go, Alex Moore. You can see what Angry sent me.
Oh, let's see. There we go, yeah. And she's a good waifu. Like,
Couldn't go
not
across
entirely
for
my
shit.
cup of tea, but
Yeah, we like that.
I don't think she's a good waifu because she murders people. She doesn't. She does not like humans, but that's not what makes her a good waifu.
Her good waifu is her dedication to the man that she loves. That's where I would focus.
Yeah, it's really that first episode of season 2 that really solidifies it, where she's just this cutesy girl doing stuff.
All right, here we go. Since we talked about hipsters, and then I also just brought up microbrewers. Let me turn this up, make sure
Oh.
you all can hear it.
before you start that, if
Yeah.
you're a true hipster, you only drink IPAs.
I have moved on to hazy IPAs lately. Big fan.
So is
'cause
everybody else, it seems.
I know, it's crazy. So like, I grew up on Hefeweizens because I really liked the cloudy beer. I was like, wow, this is great. It's like a meal in a glass. I like it.
You grew up on that?
Yeah, yeah.
Explains
Like as a
everything.
kid, just drinking it?
Yeah, that was his medicine.
You gotta numb the pain somehow. And then it was like, oh, I kind of like the IPA. It's got like a good taste to it. But I wish there was more. And then 5 years ago, I went to the brewery that's like just down the street from us, and I saw on the menu, I was like, hazy IPA. The hell is that? And they're like, well, it's kind of like an unfiltered like IPA. And I was like, well, I love hefs, and I wish IPAs had more body to them. Give me that. And I've been drinking that for the last like 5 years. So I'm the
Nice.
I'm the hipster of the hazy. So
I've had a couple good ones, but when I used to drink, like, I pretty much universally hated IPAs. I tried really hard at them, but I was always
you're like, I
more of
gotta fit in, man. I gotta do it. My uncle brewed one where he used whiskey soaked wood chips in the original mash, and that one was bomb. But it's like literally my uncle made a keg. Like you're not getting it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite used to be Newcastle Brown Ale.
Not the Newcastle.
Not our Newcastle, like European.
No, I know. I'm familiar. That's like the last choice on the tap handles for me. Like I'm doing Mac and Jacks before I get the Newcastle.
Mac and Jack was all right. Like, I don't think I was a huge fan of the super sharp hoppy beers.
Oh
I don't
no,
like
Jemmy.
hops.
My teething was brandy. That was my teething medicine.
Yeah, Grandma gives you a spoonful when you're like 2.
Just dip the pinky in the snifter and rub it on your gums. That's
Grandma
what I was
still
told.
does. Grandma,
And who
when
would
we were
admit
like,
to that if it wasn't true? Who would admit to that if it wasn't true?
when we were 2 and rambunctious, we need to wind down. Grandma just give us like a tablespoon of brandy, and it was just, and like growing up, I'm like, that's kind of messed up, and Grandma's just like, no, that's what you did for years.
Yeah, I mean, what do we do now? We just give them another form of sleep medication. Like, oh, just
Right.
because the NyQuil doesn't have the medicine in it, we call it Z-Quil. Now it's okay. It's like, no.
Give
We
them
should-
essentially barbiturates, like.
Yeah. Here, take these Quaaludes.
Yeah. It's not better. It's just different.
You want some extra Xanax bars? Let's get you
All
started early.
Let's roll
That
this
got
one.
dark.
Things
Right,
we
in
do
3,
in
2,
these
1,
days.
go. Holy smokes, there's a lot of pressure there. That is one heck of a money shot. The
Ah,
good news is it looks like a microbrewery, so it's probably some crappy
what's that?
IPA flavored with banana and ginger, cinnamon, so no real waste. I got a question. In my line of work, I've been behind the scenes of quite a few microbreweries, and why is it that everyone has to have a beard and wear a beanie? Everyone I've been in, every person that's walking around has got a beard and a beanie.
Uniform.
Why do you guys, even in the summertime, why do you guys have to do that? Is it a rule?
It's very
I don't
true.
know. There you go. All right. and
That's
three,
what
two,
happens
one,
when you
go.
don't have hair on your head anymore,
Oh.
man. That's just how it is.
Dude, when I started losing hair, I'm just like, I'd rather take my own life than lose it shamefully.
Yeah,
I just shaved my
save
head.
time. I just
think
love how
when-
it knocks this guy over. He is just done. His feet kick up and everything.
Dude, pressure's no joke, man. I learned that playing paintball for years.
And it's like a solid, like, it just looks like a line that's been painted across the screen. Like, there is so much beer and so much pressure in that tank.
It's like a hop laser, pretty much.
I like the fact that they plug it, like, kind of shocked me. I was like, oh, I thought they would have to, like, I don't know, wait for it to finish spraying before the pressure would go down. But they actually have, like, a weird stick thing they, like, shoved in there. But that made me laugh.
What makes IPAs so, like, sought after by people to drink versus, like, regular beer, I guess? I don't know the difference.
The more
They both
disgusting
taste
it is,
bad.
the more they enjoy it.
It does have a funk to it.
I don't like hops at all. It's disgusting to me. I'm not a big beer drinker.
I see it in kind of two ways. So I don't brew, but the people I know that do say IPA is like the easiest beer to brew.
True.
And therefore you can get a lot more creative with it early on. So I would assume that there's a lot more variety in different IPAs than a lot of other beers. And so probably people get into that bandwagon of like, hey, I've tried 50 different IPAs and they all taste different, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like the wine moms of beer.
Yeah.
It is closer to a wine where like every one you have, even if it's the same brewery, it can have like a different flavor to it. But it's also like Jay was saying, it's just easier. Like a lager has like specific like 7 weeks like this, another 7 weeks like this. Like they're all very like specific with their recipes. That's why every time you go get a Bud, a Rainier, a Sapporo, a Kirin, they all like have that same flavor every time you get it because it's factory, it's machined that way.
What does IPA stand for?
Indian Pale Ale.
Makes sense, I guess.
Where does that originate from then?
India.
India.
Oh, India. I didn't hear India part. Okay.
Wait, which India?
What do you mean?
Which
India?
Was
Like,
that Michael?
no.
Shut the fuck up.
Look, are we talking feather or?
I don't know. Maybe it's,
There are no feathers in India.
Maybe it's like Australian
Peacock.
Shepherd. where it's
Also,
like-
by the way, it originated in the UK
I wish
because
I
of
could
course
slap
it
you
did.
right now.
Well, it's kind of like Australian Shepherd dogs. They're American. They're not Australian.
It makes more sense when I read further. It was under
Yeah,
the
but which
control.
Australia, Jay?
The British
Texas.
would like IPAs.
The British East India Company. So it's an Indian pale ale from the British Indian Trade Company. So that makes at least a little more sense there.
I will say,
4.5 get 20%. I
So
want a
IPAs are like
20%
cheese. The
IPA.
funkier, the better.
It's just wine.
no, I disagree. Cheese is way better than any IPA will ever be.
Yeah, that's true.
I do love cheese.
You know,
I had
I'll
some blue
agree with
cheese
that.
earlier.
Dude, yeah. I don't
So
care
I-
if it's super bad for you. I'll eat cheese all the time if I have it.
So IPAs, it's all their fault for having these weird like peanut butter pickle flavored beers, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 100%. You can blame
Mhm.
that on IPAs.
Because I
No,
remember.
you blame it on the hipsters. To make
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, blame it on the
IPA didn't
people
do
who
it.
stopped the easy beer.
There's a guy in a trench coat and a fedora walk into a brewery. You just order every IPA.
Hey, psst. You want an IPA?
I got you.
Opens it up. He's got bottles in his trench coat.
What are you drinking?
Got a little bit of everything.
My
in.
own, and he just starts like cracking it. And you're like, sorry, Captain Autismo, you can't drink that in here.
I don't know, man. I know a lot of
It's
people
not
consider
even
them vanilla,
cold.
but I think my favorite beers were probably lagers.
They're
It
pretty good.
just depends on what I need to do, man. If I'm mowing a lawn, I need that PBR. I need that Rainier. I want it
PBR, dude.
cold,
Yeah, I can do
crisp,
a-
and watery.
I can
Dude.
do a Mick Ultra all day.
There you go. That's a golf beer.
PBR was
Firestone's
like
the best.
PBR was just a fact of life in college.
I do have an interesting question. Do you guys, because you guys probably know this, you've been drinking for a while, is beer considered like a carb substitute in like the normal American diet? Like, because a lot of people drink like the Bud and the PBR, whatever. So like, they have like their dinner, right? But then they'll be drinking a lot of beer afterwards. Is that
In
just
America, we don't substitute carbs. We just
Yeah.
add
Adam.
more.
Like, well, that's what I meant. I didn't mean to like fully substitute it,
Yeah,
but just
no,
like
You'll have a steak, a potato, a little side salad, and a big old beer.
We all drink
That's
up there,
nice.
Bat Blue.
It
or
sounds like you're
something
speaking
that.
foreign. It sounds like you're not an American right now.
That's something
well,
I
it's
hear
probably
a lot
Canadian
of.
too, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's something I hear a lot of other cultures say is like, you guys have so much starch.
Mm,
Like, because
that
in
makes
one
sense.
meal you can have like potatoes, bread, sometimes macaroni and cheese,
Some gravy.
Those are the Irish.
Croutons on the salad.
It's potatoes and potatoes with potatoes.
Well, the reason why I
Well,
asked,
Oh yeah, why are you asking?
because my wife was curious about like what is the normal American diet, and I was like, well, I don't know because I haven't had that in forever. But my guess,
Absolute junk.
well,
Hamburgers,
besides the junk, I said, well, it's your normal meal of like meat and potatoes, but I know a lot of Americans drink cheap beer as well during dinner time. So I
Mhm.
think like you have to include beer into that. Like that's part of their normal diets. And she was just kind of like, that's a lot of carbs. I'm like, well, to them it's not. So
Yeah, no, but we
You need
also
a lot of
look
carbs
at
when you're the best country on the planet.
Yeah.
When you have as
With
many foods as you could ever want.
with crippling obesity, yes.
Yep,
hey,
we're the best.
we look at your bowls of rice
you
the
call
same
me?
way.
I don't know, man. When you can go to a quote unquote Italian restaurant here and get a plate of spaghetti and bread.
Yeah,
I
dude.
love it. I love that.
garlic bread.
That's the
Yes,
best.
yes.
That's the best way to eat.
She freaked out when I did that one time. I made spaghetti and I was making the garlic bread. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, we have to have garlic bread with the spaghetti. And she
Yeah,
just
you
it did not compute with her. She's like, what?
That's not an American thing, though. That's an Italian thing.
Right.
Like all the foods are other nations' foods for the most part. Like maybe steak and potatoes, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they even have a dish that's called
Or one of the
carbonara.
Oh, I love
So
that.
yeah, we're gonna have meatballs, spaghetti.
We're gonna have spaghetti, and then
bread.
we're gonna have cheese with the meat.
You know, throw in some chicken.
There's gonna be
cutlets,
so
too.
many calories here.
Yeah, we
We-
do the burgers where we take the meat, we wrap the meat in the bread, and then we also have French fries next to it with the beer.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then if you
same
really-
deal.
If you really want to get extreme, they have those burgers that have the cheese in the middle of the patties.
Yep.
Mm.
Oh, dude,
That's fat. That doesn't count.
I love the burgers that do the deep fried mac and cheese on top as
Oh,
Oh,
dude.
don't get me
another
started. I'm
patty.
gonna go get some right
Cheesecake.
now.
Fats are
factory,
healthy
yeah.
in certain
Yep.
situations, which means cheese is always good.
Gonna go drive the sheets now. Find some.
I got a
Sheep.
funny short I gotta find for you guys. Oh yeah, here it is. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Sure.
If it's Oliver Jaya, we're gonna ban you.
This killed me when I was watching it.
Serranos, all the unfunny links you share, you don't get to tell anybody you're gonna get banned for.
Yeah, I also share more links than anybody. That's how it goes.
Oh.
This is hard to believe. One slice of Costco cheese pizza has as much protein as a chicken breast, according to the
Oh, yeah.
internet. I can't prove it doesn't. I've looked everywhere, and everywhere says it has 44 grams of protein. And there's no official nutrition facts from Costco anywhere. The closest I could find was a Reddit post from a former Costco employee. They claimed that they once found a printout of the nutrition facts lying there in the employee break room. Thank goodness for us, they decided to take a grainy photo of it. Edward Snowden would be proud. And sure enough, it says that one slice of cheese pizza has 41 grams of protein. Keep in mind, this is from Reddit, and on the UFO subreddit, they still think that the claymation alien is real. In fact, they have begun praying to it for good tidings. But if you take a close look at this slice of Costco pizza, you'll see that it's got a heck of a lot of cheese on there. So, I, for one, am going to label this as pizza fact. And you are now looking at the future of my meal prepping. This
Is that why Planet Fitness has pizza Tuesdays?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
It's
can
protein.
make a protein pizza, actually.
Hey,
Yeah,
Angry,
dude,
You
what,
can
what-
put protein
uh,
powder in it. You can just try and put it in there.
Angry,
It's
what
Uncle Danny, Jim.
nationality is your wife? Is she
She's
local?
Japanese.
She's Japanese.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say,
Yeah, you're right. You pegged him. He's a race trader.
I'm
will
a
say
proud
that-
race trader.
I mean, I don't think he's getting pegged. I mean, I didn't say that.
Yeah, not likely.
Dude, when I was in
Have a good one,
I think
Bob.
as far as like the most starch is consumed, I think for a while my record was when I went to Japan because just rice was all day, like every day.
Every
Look,
meal,
you could tell her that
another
all those
bowl.
carbs helped us out in Okinawa.
I thought it was a stereotype, and then I thought it was
I
a
don't-
stereotype until we had a housekeeper that would come in and every day just make a huge pot of like rice.
Yeah.
And if we got hungry, we just had rice. Like
No,
with-
we certainly didn't jump off a cliff in Saipan.
no, like with meals, as snacks, as dessert.
Rolled into a ball, eating while we walk.
Oh, dude, that was dope. Yeah.
It's
That's
interesting
Andrew.
you say about like how often because we were talking about like how we can stretch our meals as far as like not always being hungry after dinner. And so we might start having like a small bowl of rice alongside our main meal. And
Mhm.
especially like when we have kids in the future and we have to like spend more money on groceries, just having that small bowl of rice can help fill the stomach up a little bit. I don't remember what we were
carbs.
I don't remember what we were eating, but it was like
And that's starchy.
you would not eat that with like the small bowl of rice. It was just kind of like an odd thing, at least for me to compute. But for her, it was like completely normal. I don't remember
Oh,
what it
funny.
was.
It's like it's a weird enzyme thing. Like the enzyme that breaks down protein and the enzyme that breaks down carb are like competing enzymes. So eating steak and potatoes makes you feel fuller for longer because your stomach actually has more trouble trying to break it down.
Interesting.
Break down this freedom.
Yeah.
One day we should try to get like a dietitian on the cast to just talk about food facts for like 2 hours.
I know one.
I'd rather not.
I would be down actually.
I want to feel good
I'll,
I'll go
about
ahead
what I
and
eat.
think.
not
I'll
bad.
have think before he sleep and see what he's doing.
Let me
Hey, you
see
wanna
if her
come on?
DMs are open. Because I do know one.
I work with like a dozen dietitians. And they're very helpful to have because it's like, hey, my wife is having like we're trying to get pregnant. Do you have any advice? And they'll if you let them, they'll make like an entire like meal plan for you.
That's for the dude, right?
Both.
Both.
It's a lot of
Does it help?
water. It's just water and
Oh,
zinc
okay.
pills. That's
Okay.
all.
Yeah,
I was thinking of like food stuff. I was like, yeah, supplements, sure.
yeah. No, but they're. I mean, you wouldn't believe how hard it is.
Yeah,
to become an
IGP. Sammy G was exactly where my brain went.
What were you saying, Joe?
You wouldn't believe how hard it is to become an RD, though. It's like they really are kind of like scientists in a way.
Yeah, it's
So it's like-
it's kind of a medical profession.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, they do a lot of schooling.
Yeah.
Make good money too.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
a big difference
yeah.
between like an actual like medical dietitian and someone on Instagram who says they'll help you meal prep. Like that's
Well, my cousin who moved out to Seattle, he is one.
oh nice. It's a good place to do it. Got a lot of diets that need
Well,
corrected.
And they're kind of like nurses and therapists where they can always find work. Like every retirement home, every eating disorder clinic, pretty much every hospital needs some dietitians.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just don't hear about them so much because like everyone's becoming nurses or therapists right now. but it's a lot harder, I think, than those two to get licensed.
It's a lot more. It's a lot more schooling to get into that.
Yeah, like I don't think therapist has anything particularly abnormal to complete.
Except for therapists are generally abnormal people.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
And
well,
who
being a
else
therapist-
wants to listen to somebody talk for hours on end? That's
Like-
that's kind of weird.
Well, being a therapist in training, I'm happy to answer. Right now, the big thing is preventing suicide, and it's also being culturally aware with all the immigration. And so you need like a ton of training as far as like research and using sound data. Like one of my classes right now is literally about to look at a sheet of numbers and decide whether something's like reliable or valid. And last quarter, I took a research class, and like my professor was like a Nazi with that class. Like you could have a tiny typo and he would deduct like 20 out of it, like 200 points. And if you listed a source, he was gonna like read the entire source and tell you if you thought it was good.
Yeah, it may not.
That's not.
always-
That's really good though.
Yeah.
Someone who reads your sources to see if they're any good.
Yeah.
I think that's an important.
And that
thing
could
a
be
lot of people don't
genuinely
I read the
useful
wiki.
too. Yeah, because if somebody can back up your sources, they're like, yeah, this is good. You found a good spot.
Especially in the era of a source of a source, right? Where it's like you go to that first source and it's just an article saying that the other source exists, and you're like, wait a minute, like.
Yeah, I actually got docked points because I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to use a meta review
Oh, funny.
as a source, and it made total. I feel like I should have known that, but he actually wrote this like whole paragraph summary of why you can't use those.
Yeah.
Like
Interesting.
he's like they're very useful. You just can't use them in research.
Oh, okay, that makes
Yeah.
more sense. I was
That
like,
seems like a
they do have like a
genuinely useful
job,
teacher
right?
to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
actually,
really.
actively helping you learn more stuff.
I would say they're kind of like the TV tropes of the research field, like because the whole point of them is just to like, if no one's like written a review of a study, that's how you kind of figure out what its worth is without spending hours breaking it down.
Mm.
And it also calls to action further research, which is helpful, but again, you can't use it as a reference in a paper.
Yeah, it's incomplete, really.
But yeah, so the bulk of therapy, the trickiness of being a therapist is like learning different types of therapy and learning how to diagnose and like learning how different ethnicities and cultures like kind of change the dialogue in a clinical setting.
Yeah, like learning.
Do you
how to
ever do
connect
like,
with people-
well, you know, we're not in that country anymore. We're in America now, so you're just gonna have to. Do you ever
I
do
mean,
that?
yeah, I don't personally disagree, but licensure not required.
Yeah, learning how to
Well,
ask
and
the
even-
right questions is
Even
very.
personally, may disagree. There's little things like the classic stereotype of the loud Italian yelling family, which is funny because it's like my
True.
family was just very loud like that, and we got jokes all the time. They're like, "Oh, you guys must be Italian." It's like, no, we're not. We're just loud. But
Well-
knowing that someone wants to be like really like confronted with like directly is important, I think.
Well, one thing I was always really fascinated by, so I had like 2 classes dedicated to social justice, and I cringed at first because I was like, "Oh crap, we're gonna talk about white people being bad and social justice
Right.
warriors." And one thing, I did have a professor that was very like, he didn't say white people were bad; he just kind of like implied it. But
I'm not
Well,
saying
welcome
they're
to
bad.
society.
one point that he said that was actually really interesting and I thought about a lot is he said that it's important that white people see themselves as being cultural beings too. Like,
Yeah, white culture.
Man, I got something to
It
share
is-
with you guys
well,
then.
he had everyone, white or not, write a paper about white culture.
Nice.
And
How did
He
that
said,
go? Did some
the
people turn
Trail
in
of Tears.
paragraphs?
well, the most interesting one I read was a black guy that did white culture, and he actually at the end of the paper he said, one thing I learned is that I actually have a lot in common with white people.
That's wonderful.
Because he said like white people, like white culture tends to be more conservative values, which is actually the case for a lot of black families.
It is.
They tend to really like sports. They tend to like fried food. they tend to make a big deal out of like parties and stuff like that.
Brother, my
It's almost as if we're all Americans.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's a good way to be introspective and just think more about how the world actually is. And
Tell
what
me,
people do.
what do we find?
Well, and then he said that so like both of his brothers married white women. And so for the paper he had to talk to them about like white culture and stuff like that. and
Hey, race traders, tell me about your culture.
and he said that one time like one of his sister-in-laws came over and it suddenly dawned on him that every time she came over she wore like a Seahawks jersey.
Oh, funny. Just
And he's
picking
like,
up
"Hey,
on
she
those
has a
little
Seahawks-"
things.
He's like, she has a Seahawks jersey, I have a Seahawks hat. Like,
I have a
You're like the
Seahawks
same.
jersey. We are the same.
Man, this guy is like
It's
way
literally
more,
me.
is way more noticey and just like picks up things more than I do.
Blaine, check the chat.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up here.
All right.
No, that's something I learned that when I was in Iraq. I was the only white guy in my room. It was there were 6 of us, 4 black guys, a Mexican, and me. Right? And
sounds like a bar joke.
Why does everybody laugh when somebody says a Mexican? Like, what is it with that?
he was from
I don't know why
Alabama
you're
too.
getting
That was the
offended.
funniest thing.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't,
Oh my gosh,
not-
did
he's
he
not from
have
Ward,
the
he's from
Alabama
Alabama.
accent?
yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
my
the
mother-in-law's from
little peas
Alabama.
over around there. Like,
So my mother-in-law's from Alabama too.
oh, that's
Nice,
fun.
The but what they learned was just like it's like, well, white people don't discipline their kids. I was like, yeah, suburban white people don't discipline their kids. I was like, but I'm from the country. And then it's just like, oh wait,
Yeah.
our
almost like
upbringing was
different.
exactly the same.
You telling me there's
Nope.
different white ethnicities?
Oh yeah, in the South they're a totally different breed, man. My mother-in-law used to say that like when her and her brothers would mouth off, they'd get the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah.
Like they would just get like thrashed pretty much.
Oh yeah.
We need more cheese, fan side. More cheese.
And white people in the South, if you're a kid, everyone is sir or ma'am.
Yeah.
Yep.
My kids are sir, man.
Like,
It's sir and ma'am for my kids.
I'm pretty sure that's how I grew up too, generally.
Yeah, my buddy grew up in South Carolina, and it was sir or ma'am for the longest time. I'm like, dude, you hate authority. Why do you call everyone sir or ma'am? Because he was literally like the Anarchy A shirt wearing like guy, and I was like, he says, I do like it's my whole life.
That's how you
man.
don't
I can't,
violate the nap.
I can't do. That's how you don't violate the nap. You missed our conversation on the nap last night.
What?
You probably would have had a nap listening to it, but. Yeah.
Was
it
Michael on? Because that usually violates my nap.
I was taking a nap during it.
Yeah,
I'm sure you were
He was
snoring
taking a nap.
snoring on the set again.
No, we were talking about how I don't think like trying to argue that people should share liberal values is useful. That you need to just fight the individual values that people hold.
What about Christian nationalism?
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Anti-black racism.
Yeah, you can now
Oh,
minor in
very
anti-black racism. So.
Jeez, crazy.
So you could hang that on your wall from Maryland.
Next time we hang out with Tom Blaine, I'll have him tell you the story about how me, him, and one of our friends were the only guys in university that took the feminist culture 3 class. there were like 200 students. We're just these 3 dudes sitting in the middle of the class.
The debate kept getting interrupted by Big Soup. It's true. Yeah, he kept getting shut down by Bridge.
Like whenever one of us would ask a question, the professor would like stand straight up and just look directly at us.
No. I don't want to listen to Jimmy Kimmel, but he's talking about Japan. 7
This was
days
on
he
Christian
didn't
Twitter
encounter
for a while,
a dirty
actually.
bathroom.
Not Jimmy Kimmel, but the idea that just looking at the streets in Japan.
This made me
Yeah.
laugh.
You know why? Because there's no paper towels in the bathrooms. You have to bring your own towel to dry your hands.
Dude, I could never get used to the squatting toilets.
Squatty potty.
I've yet to
Well,
use one, and I refuse to use
You haven't
one.
used one, dude? You got
I'm
to shit in a hole in
fine.
the ground.
Good for
Nah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Dude,
it's
Fight the machine there.
It's gonna be
the machine
I'm a
is the Western
civilized
toilet.
human.
game time.
No reason you can't sit on a throne
Yes.
and do what you need to do.
It's foxhole practice. That's what it is.
No, that's no. Fuck that.
I'll be
No,
I'll be
fuck that.
serious though. In our guest house, we had a bidet, and that thing changed my life.
Dude, that's why I have the Toto C300 washlet on my toilet today, is because we went to Japan and I was like, holy shit, what are we doing with our lives?
Today I got the bidet.
I was like, dude, I'm not shooting water at my ass. Like, I draw the line. But then, like, when I was like, hey, wait, I don't have to wipe now.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I just kind of have to
Little
dab it
tap
off
tap,
like
yeah,
that.
dry it up. You're like, hell yeah.
Like, no more 10 wipes to get everything.
My favorite is what is it? A YouTube comedian or from back in the day, or is it someone else who's like, God, sometimes I just wipe and wipe. It's like I'm wiping a marker. Like,
Yeah.
it's like the best
Like,
analogy I've ever heard in my life for some of those.
It's like you pinch up at the wrong time, and then you just have it.
You're like, oh, I guess I'm gonna shower now.
Dude, whenever I shower, I just take a shit first. So like,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
you're
so
like,
much easier just
I
to
mean,
do
convenient.
that.
Always do that.
I agree. Why is that cook on stream? I can't stand Jimmy Kimmel.
Tarzan later said we are like hogs for what? Why did you send me this, Canadian?
Because it's funny.
What was
It just-
funny about it?
Because it represents like a faction of people in the U.S. that like.
What faction?
Them.
I mean, do we really need to point it out?
Black people?
Could I ask you to
What?
name names? Can you name them?
I'm not gonna point names and name
Basketball
fingers.
players? LeBron James?
Is the faction in the room with us right now?
We're not talking about Mexicans, are we?
I think he's talking about you, Strong.
Not Mexican though. I'm just Hispanic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's the
we
same
thought.
thing.
Is that your pronoun?
It's not the
His
same
panic.
thing.
It's like growing up to my dad and my grandpa. Everyone from South America was automatically Mexican.
Yo.
There's a
So-
hierarchy. I know that.
Chinese or Japanese? Wait, what's
Although-
the hierarchy?
Like
Everyone's
Darker
totally in it.
skin.
like
is
Puerto
worse.
Rico,
Dude.
Cuba,
I-
like they're at the top or
Okay.
something like that.
So a few years ago, I
Where's
went to
Mexican?
Florida with my in-laws, and
Mhm.
one of I think it was Sam's aunt's boyfriend. He's like a
Yeah.
good old boy, you know.
Okay.
He offered to take me deep sea fishing, which I'd always wanted to try.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
when we
the
were-
kind where you don't see anything except water, and you're like, damn.
yeah, it was awesome. But on the way back, I kid you not, he said this. I told him because he was talking about catching all these redfish and snapper and stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm like, do you take him home and cook him? He's like, no, man, I take him to the sushi places. Them Orientals love that stuff. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. No one says that anymore. I
He
told him to shut up.
Have you been to the South? When was the last time you were in the South?
I have.
Hey, what's up, Vader Clark?
In my extended family who says Oriental.
I told him to shut up because like 20 feet away from us was like a Japanese family.
It's funny. It's funny how that went from like just the word you used to now it's like there are people who don't even want to use it for like a rug, and it's like it's called the Oriental Rug Store. I can't like what other rug am I buying?
Also, the rugs are specifically not like Asian. They are from the Orient. They're based on like Nepalese rugs.
yeah, it's
Which
Oriental
Orient?
rugs.
Oriental's a word. And there's
They're
nothing
talking.
wrong
They're
with
talking
it.
about the mountain range.
It is funny to use that word around modern friends, though.
It is.
Oh, there's a
Imagine
place,
having
a town
modern
in
friends.
California
I
where they
like
have
to
a
have
bunch
a
of
good time.
stuff called like Oriental markets and shit.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
The
Like,
way we learned to deal with the grandma's racism was that Oriental is the things, not the people. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's true. Like it's, but it's fun to talk about.
When
I-
I used to work for the state, they had like these old like textbooks from the 70s and stuff. And so I read one and I was bored, and it said it was describing, I think it was describing Cambodia or something, but it's like the mystical Oriental land of Cambodia. And I was like, holy shit.
What mystical and
That's
damn.
awesome.
I was like, this is how the world used to be.
Well, I mean, to me, it's like it's a
Cambodia?
little bit more specific than just saying Asian. It sounds a little bit
Yeah.
more. To me, it sounds a little bit more sophisticated.
And for
Like-
me, I feel like there's not many places I would call the Orient or call somebody from there Oriental.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
Oriental would be specifically like Nepal east, Mongolia south. And like that's your Oriental locations.
I'm
Whereas like, if
still
you
not
say
Southeast
Asian,
That
like,
you just called them Mongoloids.
like if you say Asian, like you could be talking about Russians, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, that
one
would
of
be
the Indians.
Eurasian.
And one of the Indians, yes.
Mhm.
I
The
will
ones without
say the one that
feathers.
I will say the thing that surprises me the most is people still refer to Native Americans as Indians sometimes.
I do.
All the time.
And some
Yeah.
Indians refer to
It's-
themselves as Indians. So
in-
yeah.
People
We
probably
have
not
two
gonna go
Indians in
away.
the stream that will call
Yeah.
themselves Indians, and they're like so into their culture. They're like, I'm not Chinook. I'm not. What was the other? Whatever. He's Tsagali, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He still calls himself an Indian.
I just immediately thought of Steven Seagal when you said Seagal.
Isn't it? It's spelled with a T, and you'll never guess where it is. But yeah, I think Indian's still a fun word to use for natives because I've yet
I'm
to
allowed
read
to.
I've yet to run into a native that got mad at me for using the word Indian.
I don't think I'd say it to like a native's face, but I also don't hear them getting that pissed off about it.
They weren't
for
like
sure.
the whole red, especially here in Virginia. Like the Redskins were, it was kind of the local team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, you know, and we've got a lot of Indian tribes out here, Cherokee,
Cherokee, that was the
Blackfoot,
one.
a ton of them out here, and they're all like, yeah, we don't care, we literally don't care, and it's other people being offended, but there are some militant types that were like, I remember there was this lady I knew in the Navy. She was in the Navy, and she didn't even think that referring to the rank as chief was appropriate. She thought that was offensive. She goes, well, that's a Native American position. You know, that's part of our religion. It's like, it's an English word. You do realize that, right? Like, we didn't steal that word from you guys or anything. That's a word that existed before we even discovered America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of words like this, it's not the word itself, it's how you use it and like the attitude behind it.
Oh,
Like-
for sure.
Because going back to the Oriental thing, like Oriental's a word, like it has a fair use. It's just you probably don't want to like refer to your Japanese friend as being Oriental.
Not with a hard R.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oriental.
Oh yeah.
Orienter.
Oriental. I had some terry Yankee chicken for dinner.
Yeah, and I think that's why like the idea of slurs is so stupid because you could call someone Japanese with just as much derision and hate as you could call them a Jap. Like it's
Japanese.
the word itself is not the problem. It's the meaning that you're trying to convey with that word.
What you like Bill Burr's stand-up routine on that?
Maybe I
How-
haven't seen that one.
So he's basically says, so black people know how to do it and not be offensive, and white people haven't figured it out. Is because they put the descriptor before, like they said, oh yeah, this Asian motherfucker, right? Instead of going, this motherfucking Asian.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever heard someone say that motherfucker Asian.
He goes, context completely changes. Just how
It's true. Because in one, you're identifying them as a motherfucker, and the other one, you're identifying the entire people group as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Which is
Does
fair.
anyone actually fuck their mothers?
God, I
don't
hope not, but I know that someone does. That hurts me inside to think about.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Christian here, and I don't want to.
Chris Chan. They should make an anime about Chris Chan. I would
No,
buy the box set.
no.
We already have that. And
Oh,
he's
but
getting the
it's
girl this season.
What?
I'm just gonna pretend like that insane dude from fuck, what is it called?
Maybe we could forget about it. We're not going to talk about it again.
Yeah. A condition
I'm
called
still
love.
of the opinion. I'm still of the opinion that he was more mentally handicapped than his mom, and that she was the one who perpetrated.
But if you have like 6 hours, just watch all the Turkey Time Chris Chan videos.
I'm
I mean,
watching.
if you have
Oh,
that
no,
much
there
time,
is
you might
way
as
more
well
than
do
that.
the
It's
I'm
a
watching
really
the
fun,
comprehensive history personally.
yeah. If you have that
It's a
much time,
re-
just do the history.
yeah, it's a really fun deep dive.
Well, on that note, I guess I'll dip out.
All right. Wonderful note.
Are we gonna go
Dip.
check it out now?
No, I'm good. I've been very blessed to not go down the Chris Chan rabbit hole, and I will not. I have no plans of ever doing that. So
It's wild because you'll start out like feeling bad for him. You're like, oh
Yeah.
man, this like, oh, what, why? And then like there's this turning point where you're like, oh fuck this guy. Like, okay.
yeah.
I still kind of like, I'm not gonna say I feel full bad for him. I do think he unfortunately kind of fell into the trap of the internet essentially.
hmm
Because I came back in my day on the internet.
Right.
Like it really was like the Wild West, just people just maliciously trolling and stuff.
Mhm.
And I feel like unfortunately he kind of like he didn't understand that with his
Right.
autism and stuff. But that said, my favorite aspect of Christology, as I call it, was his whole saga of tirading against GameStop for the new Sonic game.
Oh, dude, that
Where-
was where he pepper sprays a bitch. Like that is
Yeah.
that is a good
where
one.
where he got mad that they made Sonic have blue arms instead of flesh colored ones. Like he went to every GameStop and took every display box and just like drew on it with Sharpies.
True, they are. Yep.
He got kicked out of
So
like
good.
6 GameStops.
Wow.
The fact that he lives not far from where I live
Yeah.
was the wildest thing for me.
You would have
And-
known if you saw him, though.
Him and Ethan Ralph.
Well, Ethan Ralph at least has moved
Ew.
away from you at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a swamp. Well, he used to be in a swamp.
Christian, do you have any words for the internet?
Yeah, so
His
Jessica
only
Svick-
contribution to mankind.
And then he's
So
turned
Jessica Svikovic, when we were leaving on Sunday, Blaine said that we inspired her to like host her own panel, and she wants to do a Christology panel.
Oh god.
Ooh.
She should.
Oh, was that
Yeah,
one
I
of
was like-
Friends cosplay?
I'm like,
friends?
dude, you'd have to
Yeah,
host
it was a
like 3
cosplay friend.
panels to get into all of it.
Yeah, and the problem is you're gonna get started and there's gonna be some other autist that's like, you forgot the pickle man when he first arrived to put his arm around his girlfriend. And you're like, shut up, this is my panel. Angry, get out of here before we infect
Miss
you.
Sparkles just
Yes.
talked to Ethan Ralph.
Thanks
I'm
for
sorry.
everything, as always.
I'm very sorry
All
that
right.
you had to go through that.
Miss Sparkles, did you do
Have
a
fun, buddy.
call in for Ethan Ralph's The Kill Stream?
Are you? Can we hear your voice on a kill stream?
It sounds like you should take full responsibility for that. I don't think we should hear anything to do.
That's wild.
So I'm gonna hop off in 10 minutes, but one thing I wanted to ask about: have you guys heard of True Capitalist Radio?
No.
What?
What?
You mentioned that
You should-
before.
you should
but
spend-
I hadn't.
You should spend some time looking up on YouTube. It was a really fun season of about 8 years where there's this kind of business mogul guy. He's like in his 60s who he made a genuine attempt to like have a podcast about like making money and investing and stuff. But
Mhm.
the people that found his cast were like bronies, internet trolls,
Mm.
and stuff.
Oh,
And so
nice.
his shows were pretty much nothing but people trolling him and trying to piss him off.
Gotcha.
But the fascinating thing is he got surprisingly adept at like troll culture.
Right.
And so even though he's like this 65-year-old dude, he learned all the N language and stuff, and like he was all into like all the 4chan raid drama and all that crap.
Mm,
And he learned that he could actually make money from the trolls because more viewers just meant more money and more merch purchases.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he would do these crazy merch drops where he would be like, I think he had someone draw like a pony based on him, and he would like autograph them and sell them for like $30 each.
Gross.
and he
But
would
yes.
sell hundreds of these. And he just kind of learned how to lean into the trolls to a point, and he still streams, but like his model turned more into like the underground, like kind of like, I don't know, like what's the term for like kind of like not necessarily the far alt-right, but like the rights that are involved in a lot of meme culture and stuff like that.
Like Pepe, right?
Autistic.
Yeah. He kind of got
Where
into
they're like
that
not
sort of
actually
thing.
Nazis, but they pretend to be one on TV.
Not that far, but he kind of started to do stuff in that sort of vein where he was really into the underground and like
Yeah, the Kekistani type people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
and he kind of became like just this big voice in that movement, and he's been kicked off of like 5 streaming services.
Of course he is.
Oh, my
Those
favorite
viewers.
the favorite moment of the internet was the "He Will Not Divide Us" and Shia LaBeouf. That was
Oh, that's so good.
I wish that never ended. Like living in that moment, it was nothing could get better. Like it was got home, pull it up, see what the hell's going on.
Markiplier's newest thumbnail is creepy.
Dude, I saw that shit on the news. People were talking about it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
It was on Drudge Report and everything. It was amazing. And all the drama that unfolded.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only bad part was all the personalities that came out, and then they wanted to exist afterwards.
That is terrible, but the worst part is that Shia LaBeouf doesn't have an acting career right now.
No, but he's trying to get his life in order. So that's actually the good thing that came out of that.
Mm-hmm.
He stopped hunting people in the woods.
Oh, that's such a great internet video.
Why is Markiplier drooling some sort of cum shot onto this thumbnail?
It's actually blood, but because of the Japanese or the Chinese censors,
Oh,
they've had to make
they
it
had
white.
to make it.
Yeah, I don't know
white.
why, but he's
Okay.
playing the new climbing game that everybody's playing.
Here's the thing with Markiplier. So me and my wife used to be huge Markiplier fans. Like we had like merch. We used to. Okay, before you play that.
Okay, hold on.
We used to like. We even went to PAX to like meet him and stuff like that. And we used to like
Mhm.
watch his videos every night. It happened, and he's supporting BLM. I was just like, nope. Like just totally disillusioned. I like unsubscribed to him for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of like I appreciate that Markiplier's there, and I still watch his stuff sometimes, but like I just kind of see him as someone that's sort of bought into like the YouTube machine, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas at the very least, like I know I kind of jerk off Moist Critical quite a bit, but like at the very least, he still like speaks up against YouTube.
Oh, for sure.
Just like
That's why-
movements.
That's why I like the Red Thread more than Creepcast. The Wendigoon podcast, because Red Thread has Charlie and then that other guy, but then Creepcast has Papa Meat, and Papa Meat's a lollycuck now. So
Yeah, I would definitely say Red Thread is probably going to be better. I haven't seen either, but I can just guarantee you.
I'd say
that one's gonna be better.
lollycucked now.
Yeah, that video of Papa Meat just pissed me the hell off. Like, I kind of, I guess I saw where he was coming from, but I feel like, I don't know. I kind of wondered why he made the video, because it's like he was trying to have this point about things, but he wasn't calling for like any kind of change. He wasn't having informed opinions. It just kind of seemed like he was just trying to shit on something that
he's just
wasn't
like,
even...
dude, these people are weird, right? Like, and
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
okay,
He's just
well-
making fun of people. But the issue is he's like bringing up the worst examples. You're not actually making fun of any of the
Yeah.
people.
It's like
You're
you could
making fun of
literally
normal
say there are people who get their jollies off to this shit, i.e. Vosh, and those people are terrible and disgusting, and we would all go, yep. All right,
Mhm.
next. But it's
But
like,
then he brings up like Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
bro,
I don't-
nobody.
Yeah, the thing I honestly kind of agreed with him on a lot of the lolicon points. What I hated was, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something on the lines of like, if you're someone that likes likes cuteness in anime, or like you're the same as lolicons and shit like that.
Right.
And
you're
I'm
just
like,
like,
no,
bro.
No, that's an argument a lot of lolicons make. Is that it's just about the cuteness, and it's like no, it's clearly not.
There is a huge difference.
I mean, Blaine, you've seen like my taste in figures and stuff. Like, I like cute characters.
For sure.
Like,
I mean, yeah, you were talking about Altair.
But you also got an Albedo character.
As I say, those aren't the ones aren't the ones I saw you buying.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of like, but I hate that Lolicon's a thing. I don't like. I won't watch an anime if they make a point of having an obviously lolly character, and that's like the main point of the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I didn't watch the latest season of The Devil's a Part-Timer, because they were like showcasing this lolly character, and I just wasn't into it.
Right.
But to say that it's like, oh, they have a character who's 16, it's like, who gives a shit? Like,
yeah, sometimes that character just exists. They don't have to be like sexualized, and you're not there to perv on them. Like, they can just be a character that the creator came up with. Doesn't mean that it has to be anything nefarious. But then other times you're like, bro.
And when someone when he's sitting there saying like, I swear my rant's almost over, guys. But when he sat there and said like, oh, these people have brain disorders, it's like, okay, it's like, I'm a horror nerd. I get your taste of like your art, but you draw some pretty creepy shit. I could say that's borderline like psychopathic. Like,
oh, totally.
Like, so real, I don't know. I really loved his stuff, and then after that video came out, I was just kind of like,
I mean, that's why everyone was bringing up the Tom Brady and his kid thing. Like, that's actually worse than what most lolicons do.
yeah, and I do think it's important to point out the problem with lolicon and to not support it and all that. But I don't like how the movement goes so far as to being like, if a character doesn't look like they're in their 30s, it's not okay. Like, anime has to be devoid of like youthful looking characters. It's like,
yeah,
and I talked about it before. Is like, I'm not usually concerned about the characters. I'm concerned about the people.
Yeah.
And the people arguing anti-lolicon, they range from like normal people that just don't like it when it's strictly about kids and shit, and then it ranges to people complaining about like Stellar Blade because they think the main character has a child.
Her face is too young. She reminds them of a child.
Yeah.
As
you mean when they look like kids, so they might as well be kids?
No. So this is I don't know. You've been off the internet for a while, but there's this new game called Stellar Blade that's coming out that used a body scan of a K-pop idol in order to make the character. Oh, I'm way ahead of you, man. Yeah. And so you get this character, and the internet is like, real women don't look like that, even though it was scanned from a real woman. And also, she's like a child. Who would want to watch this? It's like the real woman's like 30. Like, what are you talking about?
And it's like,
that doesn't look like a kid either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just seeing this. This isn't a very large.
She is an adult woman.
That is definitely an adult. I ain't never seen no kid like that.
There's a range of people complaining about Lolly, and it includes these weirdos.
It's like, what's a real woman? Like, so Blaine, you've seen Brie. Brie looks like she's like 17.
Oh, she's so weirdly short.
And Brie is like 33.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone that's shorter than me. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a woman, lol. Yeah, no. Brie is teeny tiny. She's like smaller than my mother-in-law. And my mother-in-law is like one of the smallest people I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we talked about before, the person who puts
Good point
on
of reference,
3 inch
Blaine,
heels
somebody
is still
who's never met.
shorter than me by about 3
I'm way
inches.
ahead of you, Stu.
Yeah, so I think we need to keep calling out lolicon, but get off the train of being like, oh, there can't be youth in anime.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a
Anyway,
way to do it.
Yeah, I gotta get off. So you want to pull up that clip I shared?
Yeah, let's watch this first.
Later, man.
Just there might be some racist language. I really hope there's not.
We're hours into the stream. The YouTube bots stopped watching, so we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, we got a freaking Helen Keller deaf mute. How about 540 Radio Graffiti? It will be legal in Texas to shoot Thomas Alvin. And hey, it's me. I'm Thomas Alvin.
Is this his intro? What am I listening to right now? You're 5'2", but your grandma's 4'11". Yeah, this is how tall we're talking about people right now.
So, just for some backstory, what this is he has a segment on his shows called Radio Graffiti. And it's pretty much people can come in and just say whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
It's like his attempt at free speech. But what people do to troll him is they'll take his voice and like remix it into different things to try to make him mad.
Gotcha.
And so he has a character, like he made a point of staying totally anonymous. Like he actually did a really good job of total anonymous. Like you couldn't dox him just because, but people kind of came to this conclusion that he was this guy named Thomas Albin. So they would try to piss him off by referring to him as that. So this guy, what he did here is he posted a cut saying like, "Hey, look at me, I'm Thomas Albin," and it really pisses him off. And so this is just one of the small clips from his videos. And YouTube, yeah, check that one out instead. But YouTube axed most of his videos because there were things like people making him say racist crap and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
Is this Ghost?
Yeah, it's Ghost. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Loading.
And his thing is when he's mad, he like punches beer cans. So like you'll hear him say like, "Damn it!" and then just beer cans flying all over the room.
You son of a...
I mean, there was that whole meme.
That's not funny!
That's a lot of beer cans. I thought it was going to be like there's a couple beer cans that you just hear him like smash, but that was like a minute.
He's got this certain swagger to him though, because he does this thing where every night, like he drinks whiskey, but he only drinks Johnny Walker Blue Label.
Oh, real man of culture there.
Yeah, and so he makes fun of when people call in. He'd be like, "What are you drinking tonight?" And they're like, "Hey, I'm drinking some Crown tonight." He's like, "Pussies." He's like, "Save some money and go out and buy some Blue Label." And it's like, of course, like a $300 bottle.
Right.
That's not funny, you son of a bitch! Listen, y'all are pushing my buttons today. I'm telling you this right now. You're pushing my buttons. I'm going to end this show early today. I'm telling you that right now. You keep this crap up. I'm going to end this son of a bitch early if you keep this crap up. I'm warning you. I'm warning you all right now.
The crack. I'm warning you.
Yeah. This is every one of his shows. He tries to have these like come to Jesus moments with his trolls, and they just think it's funny. Like he doesn't understand how trolls work.
No, that's beautiful.
Give me the freaking... Look, man,
Is he in a kiddie pool full of cans? Like he's wading over to his desk. Like
my theory is he has like a tote full of like beer cans next to him, and as
he
a
just
part
keeps
of
his
show,
feet in it, like just in
Yeah.
case.
I'm telling you this right now. You people are pissing me off. Y'all better stop this, or I'm stopping the show. All right? I don't need to be putting up with this crap, especially so close to New Year's Eve. Hell, I'm even doing a New Year's Eve broadcast, you ungrateful twats! Jesus Christ.
But he yeah, so there's just a lot of him. He's a lot of fun, but he has this whole lingo about him too. Like he has catchphrases. And my favorite part of his show that he stopped doing after a while is like people would do the classic. He would do like shout outs, like Twitter shout outs, read people's names. But people would obviously like do the old school prank calling crap where they'll name themselves like Alpha Q Hard, that sort of thing. And so he'll read it, then he'll realize what he said, then he freaks out because he knows that what he essentially did is he provided a soundbite to trolls to use.
Of course he did.
So they got him to say the N-word a couple times.
Nice.
And
Classic
so then of course, but that's a fun little rabbit hole to get into. He's not everyone's cup of tea, but I kind of like respected the fact that at the very least he kind of never changed his viewpoints on things.
Nice.
He kind of just said exactly what he believed in, and if he lost viewers, oh well, sort of thing.
Good for him. It's hard for a lot of people to do that.
Yeah. But he used to call trolls fruit bowls, which always made me laugh.
Fruit bowl.
Yeah.
Wild. Alrighty. Anything else you want to shout out before you take off for the night?
No, but I am curious about this cliff that I can never pronounce his name. Jiminy.
Chiminere?
Yeah.
Chiminere.
You should watch that, then I'll dip out.
Is that the
right? Smelly Negro. I love that name. Which hockey movie chant "I swallow knickers come"? No idea.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
How do you not notice that? How do you just say that?
Well, what people
Wow,
do
I
is
love that name. Like,
what people do is they'll like use phonetics to make something look like for example like an Indian name or something, and so it actually kind of on the outside looks like innocent.
These are people with no internal monologue.
No, like you really should take a moment to scan and say.
Probably read it first and then say it. Like,
it's like in my World of Warcraft days where it's like I would try to make an inappropriate name with just phonetics and
that's great.
2 days later I could realize a moderator actually did their job, so I'd be banned for a little bit.
Yeah. Oh,
but anyways, talk to you later, guys.
Yeah, have a good one, Jake.
Later.
Right.
I'm gonna follow Jay on that one too, because it's late.
All right, have a good one, Stu.
Same.
When's your
See
next?
you guys.
When's your next psalm?
Mm-hmm.
Good night, chat.
Oh wait, when's the next psalm?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay. All right. How are we going, Stu? It's good to have you back. All right. We're back. Everybody knows your names. I don't need to do that.
We'll do the next time.
Sometimes you wanna go.
Jay only has a Reddit account, so we're not gonna count that. We're gonna link this Reddit account. You deserve that.
Yeah. He's like, I was like, what do you want me to link? He's like, well, yeah, I got to Reddit. You link that. I'm like, okay. Reddit it is. Here we go.
That's what you've chosen.
Yo, Miss Sparkles, if you're still there, please keep talking about how you know Ethan Ralph. That was awesome.
She's also 5'2", which means that she looks Ethan Ralph straight in the eyes.
She's barely shorter than Serranos.
That's like 4 inches.
It's not true. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Those Seattle streets, they got a lot of hills to them. Yeah, how short are you?
I'm what it says on my driver's license, 5'7".
Who's that? Who's Ethan Ralph? IJP, are you unfamiliar with the man, the myth, the legend, the Killstream extraordinaire? How the fuck Ralph? You can't fucking talk.
Number one in the sector from the top on down.
From the top of the sector. You think man? You think I'm 5'2"? You think I'm 5'2"?
No, it's 5. It's 5'1".
There is video, if you care to find it, of Ethan Ralph going gunt to gunt with another man over, I guess, his girlfriend's stuff, but also the artist formerly known as Digibro is recording it, I think. Like, who's...
Yeah, Digibro is recording. Digibro's ex-girlfriend, May, pivoted to be a right-wing person so she could get with Ethan Ralph because she wanted access to some other woman's kid Ethan Ralph had with that woman.
Yeah, she straight up married him.
Yep.
Hold on, I think
all that's weird. None of it's good. All these people should probably go to prison.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Ethan Ralph, Digibro house.
Hold on, I think I can find
it from that.
Isn't there like? Okay.
Because Digibro uploaded it himself.
Yeah, that's one of the funniest parts. I gotta search for this off stream so that if in case I find the other Gunt video, I don't want to see that one.
Oh, you don't want to go to Portugal?
No, the green screened one. The green screen is hilarious, but like, I don't want to accidentally find the original.
Mm-hmm.
I want the fan art one. Where's the Guns Collide fan art?
I think this 3-minute one might be it.
Yeah, 3-minute one. Go ahead and hit it in the link, and I'll pull it up here in just a second.
Yeah, I'll post it here. I think this is a good one of it.
On him by the time he gets there.
I bet you shut that fucking door.
Riley does not.
I bet you shut that fucking door. Do I look 5'1", bitch?
Finally, the punch-drunk planet plows through the door and shoves his fat rolls against Riley's. Technically, this is not a breaking and entering, but a forced entry, and it is swiftly followed with a forced exit.
The way this guy pushes him away is like every drunk person I've ever seen. Like, he just kind of runs at him, pushes, and just like kind of falls over. Like he was like, oh, I thought he was supposed to be there when I pushed.
No, shoulder check.
Just wild.
You're in my house, bitch. You broke in. Get out. You broke into my home, you bitch.
Now, technically, if Ralph had walked away here and pressed charges, Riley would be in a lot of trouble right now. Thankfully, the cops we showed this tape all agreed that Ralph threw away his case immediately by doing this.
Oh, first butt crack we've seen of the night.
You know, I was gonna say is I don't think that is necessarily true. I mean, cops wouldn't bother really, but defending yourself from somebody who's attacking you isn't really against the law.
Yeah, exactly. If he had reason to believe that he was being attacked, then there is no reason to not fight back.
But really, though, like nothing really happens, so the cops do not care. Like, unless somebody really wants to press charges. Oh, that's perfect. I love how they said search terms. Oh, that's good.
You have to run away like a bitch, though? No, actually, you do not. In a lot of states, like, you don't have to run away. Especially if it's fisticuffs to fisticuffs. It's not you don't, like, retreat before you punch somebody.
Guns galore flailing in the night breeze as the 35-year-old gray-haired alcoholic starts pulling out the 22-year-old home defender's hair like a little girl in a school fight. No longer content to watch her man get some gross idiot's belly sweat all over him, absolute unit Mint Salad jumps into the fray. Delirious from being mercilessly wailed on, Ralph summons all the COVID and AIDS in his liver-spotted body and spits a mist of blood into Mint's face.
Get out of my face.
You guys are fucking pathetic. Stop.
It just goes on like this, and we get more footage. I cannot find the fan art. So both of these guys are Gunts galore, and this is the Gunt collision. And somebody drew fan art of them like slap boxing, but then their Gunts are like kissing. Like they have little faces, and they're like puckered up, like kissing each other. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. It used to be on Rekeda's Twitter, but. You know, you're not finding that anymore. Years ago that was posted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was funny. Whew. All right, back to my Swedish man that you guys haven't been listening to because I've been muting him to the stream.
Let's say 10 tabs, or even like, let's say if you have 20 tabs. This is going to be a big mess. It's going to contain a ton of components, and the graph's going to have a ton of blueprints. So you don't want that.
I don't.
Instead, the good practice will be to have different widgets, which will contain all their code and components, and then use them as tabs in this widget right here. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's go create our first tab. I'm going to go back in Entry. In the debug menu folder, I'm going to create another folder, so new folder that I'm going to name Tabs. Open it.
Oh, okay. Why are we... There's so many. This debug menu is going to be useful.
In here, I'm going to create a user interface and a widget blueprint.
Will it really?
Which I'm going to name tab underscore.
I'm pretty sure it will, because once we're making things, we're gonna need to know like if something's not working to go into the widget and like figure out why.
console commands. Since we're going to execute multiple console commands in there. And open it. So this widget is going to contain all the logic that is specifically made for the console command tab. And then if we have another tab, let's say for the camera,
He's got a
that
big
specific tab
breath
is going
there.
to contain
It's
that.
okay, bro.
But for
We're
now,
gonna
it's
make it
time to
through.
link it to the debug menu. So just so we see what happens, we're going to drag a few buttons in there. So one button here, one button there,
Button,
one
button.
It
Okay.
doesn't matter. Then
I'm
I
not
can
gonna do
compile and
this.
save. If I go back in the debug menu, I'm going to change a few things. Here in my widget switcher, I have my no widget text right here. But I don't want to have some text showing up every time there's no widget visible. So I'm simply going to delete the text in the component. Then I'm going to replace the tab 1 by our widget we just created. So I'm going to delete the tab 1 text that we created.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this. Change this so the text is there's no text. So just nothing there. But then tab 1.
In the last video, and in my case, I'm going to also delete the border. So bye-bye. And now let's add our tab. So in the palette view, I'm going to scroll all the way down. And
All
here
the-
there's the category user created.
That's
Expand
me.
that. Then you can scroll all the way down again. And in here, you will find all the widgets you created in your project. So right now we have the button console command right there and the tab console commands right here. And we want to use the tab console commands. So let's drag it into the widget switcher. If I select it, I can see all the 3 buttons that we added in it. So we know that it works and it's really a reference to that other widget. But we have one last thing to do, which is to make sure that this widget is ordered.
Oh, I guess I should do that then, shouldn't I? Let's do just do the border, I guess. Do a border button. Actually, no, we'll delete that. We'll just do buttons, like he said. Button. Oh, I know. I'll just do text that says like tab console command. Tab console. That'll work. Save, compile. Go to my debug menu. Click this. Tab console. Beautiful.
Properly. So I want to use it. So I want to use it when I click on tab 1. So
Yep.
I'm going to make sure that this widget is the second child of my widget switcher. So I'm going to drag it right under the empty text right here.
Correct.
And drop. So now we have this empty text as index 0, this console command tab as index 1, which is linked to tab 1, and then we have the other ones. And just so it's clear for the user which tab he's clicking on, I'm going to go in the text component that is on the tab 1 button and replace the text from tab 1 to comments, let's say. And then make sure to also rename the text component and the button just so it's clear for us also. So comments and the button tab 1 right here, it's going to now be named button underscore comments. Well, let's compile, save, and we can go test that in game. So I'm going to go back in the level and press play. Now I have a comments tab on the top left corner, and if I click on it, it shows all the 3 buttons that I had in my widget. And I can close it to show nothing. Perfect, let's stop. And we can go back in the tab
Beautiful.
console command. And in here, I'm going to delete all 3 buttons because we're not going to use them. Then compile and save. And it's finally time to create our tab. And I might go a little bit faster because I have a lot of stuff to change here and there. And if I take the time to explain everything, we're still going to be here tomorrow morning. But don't stress. I'm
Oh,
not going
goodness.
to change anything that's going to affect the mechanic of our debug menu. It's only visual stuff.
Okay.
And I also suggest you to take some extra time and make that debug menu even prettier. Anyway, let's do this.
I'm
So
not
what do
going
we
to make
want?
it prettier
Well,
than
in
you.
my case, I want to have all of our console command buttons stacked on top of each other in a vertical box. So
Right.
let's do that. I'm going to delete the canvas panel because I don't need it. I'm going to look for a vertical box right
Vertical
here, and
box,
I'm going to
got
add
it, baby.
to my blueprint. Then I'm going to add a few buttons. So I'm going to scroll all the way down, expand user created, and scroll all the way down again. Then I'm going to get my button console command and drop it in the viewport. And I'm actually going to need a few of them. So I'm going to duplicate.
Oh, hold on. Okay. Wait. What did I call that? Button console command. There it is. Okay. And he wants a few of them in there. Okay.
It a bunch of times. For the console commands, the first one is going to be stat FPS, which is fine. Then I want to maybe use stat unit, which is also a pretty common console command, so stat unit with a space in between.
Oh, you can just like click it. Okay, that's cool. So then these buttons are all individual. So when I update these buttons, they're all going to
Then
be
maybe
different.
Stat U object, stat U objects, and maybe a few show flags. So let's say show flag dot static meshes space 0. Then I'm going to copy this text and go in the next one, and I'm going to paste it and replace the 0 by a 1. Then for the 2 last one, maybe another show flag. So show flag dot wireframe space 0. And same thing, I'm going to copy it and paste it in the last one and replace the 0 by a 1. Perfect. So we now have all of our console commands.
Okay. All right, give me just 1 second here. Show flag dot wireframe 0. Copy that one. Make it 1. Cool.
Right now the widget is a bit weird, like it's super wide, and I don't really like that. And anyway, it's not gonna look that way in game. So just to see how it's gonna look in game, I can go in the top right corner and replace fill screen right here by desired. So this is more what it's gonna look in game. Okay, now we can make it pretty. In my case, what I want is to have an expandable area for all of our sections in our debug menu, because we're gonna have a ton of them. And even we don't really need it for this tab in particular, it's nice to have the same aesthetic for the whole debug menu, I think.
Yeah.
So let's do this. So the container that I want is an expandable area. And sadly, I can't replace the vertical box directly with an expandable area. So we're gonna have to do a bit of shuffling. So first, I'm going to look for my expandable area, which is in the mix category for some reason.
Yep.
So let's get it and drop it in the vertical box. So it's at the bottom.
Yep.
If I expand my expandable area right here, I have the header and the body. In the header, I can add a text. So I'm going to get the text and drop it in the header. I can also update the text, so console comments. Perfect. And I want to put all my buttons inside the body of the.
Okay, we're gonna make that console commands. Okay.
Expandable area. So I'm going to get another vertical box, which is somewhere, vertical box, and drop it in the body, and then get all my buttons and drop them into the vertical box. Oh no, they disappeared. But nah, they didn't. It's because the expandable area by default is collapsed. So if you select the expandable area in your hierarchy, then you can go on the right side and check the is expanded checkbox right here. Perfect, we now have our...
Okay, where's my is expanded? Where did he just pull that from? Variable is enabled. Show me your clicks, wizard.
You can go on the right side and check the is expanded checkbox right here.
Expansion. Frickin' where? Wait, hold on. Body? Okay, is expanded. Bingo.
Perfect, we now have our buttons back. Okay, things are a bit too stuck together right now. So I'm going to select all the buttons, all of them. And then go on the right side and adjust the padding. So layout, padding. I'm going to add something like 5, just to have a bit of space in between the buttons. Okay, but now the background is gray. Same gray as the top here of the expandable area. I don't want that. I want it to be like maybe black. So I'm going to right click on the vertical box on the left, go in wrap width, and select a border, which allows us to easily change the background color. So I can select the border on the left and adjust the brush color to maybe black.
Okay. Border, where'd you go? Where are you, border? Oh, I just picked this border, and then I can pick this. Okay.
Press OK. I can also adjust the padding a little bit, so it's the same thing.
Wait, why did that change everything? Why does that change the text? Oh, because I picked the, wait. Yeah, no, why? Why would the border, changing the border color, content color and opacity of content in the border. Okay, then appearance. Here we go. Why is that collapsed at first? That's a weird one.
At the top and on the sides, so I'm going to go in the padding and write, let's say 5. Perfect. Now I think that my buttons are maybe a little bit too spaced out, so I'm going to select them again and change the padding to maybe 2. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Oh, I just noticed that my button is now at the top, so I can just bring it back down. So I'm just going to move it all the way at the bottom. Now maybe we can add another outline around our expandable area. So I'm just going to right click on the vertical box and choose wrap width and a border, which I'm going to change the color to maybe black again.
Oh, for the whole console commands. Wrap with a border and then appearance. Oh, I gotta click the border. Appearance, make this one black again.
And maybe some padding to maybe 5. And we still have a vertical box that is not needed anymore in our hierarchy, so I can remove it. And to do that, I'm going to right click on it and choose replace with, and then replace with child, which is going to delete it from the hierarchy. Okay, the menu starts to look interesting.
Okay. It looks interesting, and now he's gone. We've lost him.
He did.
Oh, I shrank my chair in that
Let's go see
Ethan
how it looks
Ralph
in game.
event. I'll have to fix
Compile,
that for
save,
next
and
stream.
go press play.
Come back to me, my man.
In Ethan we trust.
ESP Baby Inc.
Okay, I'm going to select my tab. Okay, it's not too bad. Maybe the buttons are a bit too dark, the text a bit too big, too close to the edges maybe. So maybe we can go change all that. So stop, go back in the tab console command. For the buttons color, I cannot change them right here because they are in their own objects. So I'm going to go back in the button console command right here. So I'm going to select the button, change the background color to maybe something a little bit lighter. So maybe going to type.
Okay, now you are getting too deep in this. I want the buttons to do something. I don't really care that they look that pretty or not.
Go in the right and maybe type 20 or maybe 30 just to have more space at the end. Okay, that looks all right. Let's go test in game. Compile, save, play. Open my command tab. Okay, it's a bit small, but if I press F11 to see it in full screen, this is how it looks. And it's way better. So the text makes more sense at that size. Maybe the last thing we can do is to change the mouse cursor while it's hovering a button. Because right now it's not really clear if we can click on them. Well, it's clear, but I mean, it's never clear enough. So I'm gonna press F11 again to minimize, stop, and go back in my button. So in my button right here, I can select the button and search for cursor. Then check the checkbox beside cursor and select N. Compile, save. I'm gonna go do the same thing in the...
And select, what did he just say? Collect hand? And? Is that what? I can't see this shit anymore. Give me my frames back. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay.
The tab console.
Go back.
In my button right here, I can select the button and search for cursor.
Cursor, yeah.
Then check the checkbox
Check
beside
it.
cursor and select hand.
Hand, okay. That is what he said.
Compile, save. I'm gonna go do the same thing in the tab console command. So I'm going to select the header of my expandable area. I'm going to search for cursor, check the checkbox, and change it for hand. Compile, save. And I can also do it for the debug menu. So all the buttons at the top right here, I can select them. So tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. And I can search for cursor, check the checkbox, and change it for hand. Now I can compile and save. And if we go back in the game and test it, so if I press play, now my mouse cursor changes for a hand while it's hovering a button. And if I click on the command, the same thing for all these buttons. Perfect. And actually, we just spent a lot of time tweaking the UI and making it pretty, but we never...
Okay, yep. I turn into a hand. Hand. Oh, wow. It actually just works. Stat U objects works. Okay. I can't do the FPS. Static mesh is no. Static mesh is 0. Wireframe. Sky material. Nice. Okay. I can't stat FPS. Oh, it's over there. The frame rate's on the other side of the screen. And the unit, okay, the unit pops up on the right side of the screen as well. Interesting. There you go. Now you can see it a little bit better. My current frame rate is bouncing between 100 and like 115. Very quickly is it updating. So I'm doing it, guys. I'm making a pixel art game that's getting over 100 frames per second.
tried to see if the buttons are working. So let's say I click on stat FPS. Okay, on the top right corner, I see my FPS. Then stat unit, I also see them. That's good. And then stat U objects, I see all the stats of all my objects that are in my level. Great. These three command lines are...
Oh, yeah, you like the crazy hair? Them again to hide them. It happens from time to time.
So that's why we have them twice. So for the show flags static meshes, if I click on the 0, it's going to hide all the static meshes. But if I click on the 1, they're all going to be back. And same thing for the wireframe. If I click on show flag wireframe 1, it's going to show the wireframe. So everything is on wireframe. And if I click on 0, it's going to hide the wireframe. And they can be combined. So if I show the wireframe and I hide all the static meshes, I see that I don't have anything anymore. And then I can show the static meshes and hide the wireframe. But yeah, I guess that's it for the UI. I'm going to spend a little bit more time to improve it a little bit. And I think I'm going to do a fast forward of that. But if I do anything that is important, I'm going to let you know.
Okay. I think that's the end of this one for tonight. Your mom has the same color hair? Well, my hair color on streams... Serranos, what color is my hair in real life? Whoop. Whoop. No. Is he gone? Did I mute him? Turn off the BRB. Turn off the BRB. Where is that?
Oh my god, now that he's gone, we can... Oh.
Wait, no, I was Stranos, where are you? Did you fall asleep?
Red.
Red? My real life hair is red? Wild. No, I'm not a ginger. You're not at the computer? Okay. All right. Well, I'm taking my old man pills, and then I'm done. So I'm gonna get the video completed for upload tomorrow, which means it'll probably be live on Saturday for the first panel video. We'll worry about the second panel video the next week. No, my hair is not red, Miss Sparkles.
Just fake.
My hair is brown as brown can be. I'm in denial. Yeah, I'm in denial. It's true. Yeah, I don't know why. Is this like that's pretty white, so it's like the white balance is good. It's just got to be so these lights aren't like white lights. They're tweaked a little bit into the softer spectrum, so they have a little bit more yellow to them. That's the only thing I can think is that the stage lights that I use are in a way that reflects more red, because I've tried to white balance it away. His hair looks red on camera too. It's wild. It's wild, but it happens. Happens to the best of us. My goatee does have a little bit of redness to it, but it's not like a red goatee. I don't have any of that, like, oh, I've got a Irish beard or anything, but I don't know. We'll see. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your night. I will catch you all tomorrow. Have a good one. And enjoy the new season. It looks like it's going to be fun. Compai, everybody.